still wasting their time.
Okay, well, it's been a absolutely crazy night in the NBA as Luka Doncic has made his return to Dallas and absolutely destroyed them, so I'm happy about that. I won't lie, this Bulls game, bro, I was just like, especially the way the Bulls came out, I was like, man, do the Bulls actually look rested? Like, the Heat hit 2 threes to start the game. I was just like, ugh, like, I don't know, bro. This wasn't amazing. I think throughout this game there was a lot going on that I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, man. There are some very, very sketchy moments, if I had to be honest. Like, there were some bad defensive lapses. There were some pretty awful turnovers by the Bulls in this one. But they locked in enough defensively, especially in the second quarter, to get the job done. So, you know, if I was in the Bulls position and I was trying to make sure I make the playoffs and I wanted to make sure that I, you know, at least get into the playoffs, whether it's via the 7th seed or the 8th seed, but if the goal is to make the playoffs, I personally would not have done it this way by resting my guys yesterday, and then putting all your eggs in this basket tonight, and it wasn't that convincing of a win. It got the job done, though, so congratulations, I guess. I gotta give you your props for probably one of the stupidest decisions I've seen in a while from this organization, and this organization is pretty dumb. But the job was done, so you can thank Josh Giddey and his whole amazing performance tonight for getting the job done, because holy hell, there was a lot of moments in this game, bro. I was just like, yikes. The Heat were consistently getting inside the paint. They were absolutely just destroying the Bulls in the interior for most of this game. I thought that the Bulls did a good job on some of the Heat shooters, but the Heat were just getting on the interior pretty consistently, and it was like, oh boy, like, I don't know if the Bulls are ready. And Giddey, thank God, was ready for you guys. So I personally wanted to see the L just so I could laugh in all the Bulls fans' faces about it, you know, supporting what the Bulls did yesterday by sitting all their guys and, you know, defending the front office until they die, which I'm just like, I don't know why you would ever defend this front office, but I guess instead you guys can laugh in my face because I really wanted the L tonight to see how all those Bulls fans that for some reason are all of a sudden defending Jerry Reinsdorf and defending AK Mark Eversley till their grave now. And apparently, if you don't defend those guys, you're no longer a Bulls fan. But I was hoping that the Bulls would lose tonight just to see those Bulls fans just to be in agony. I just wanted to see the reaction and just be like, so what happened, y'all? Like, you know, we were supposed to win this game tonight, and y'all, you know, what was the plan? But they got it done. I don't think it was necessarily pretty, but they did their job. So good job, everybody. I guess the backcourt of the future, honestly, might be Giddey and Kevin Huerter instead, because, dear Lord, Kevin Huerter probably had his best game of the season, at least in my opinion. Maybe the Kings game was better, but this, to me, was honestly Kevin Huerter's best all-around performance. Defensively, getting in the interior, hitting his three-point shots when he needed to. This, I think, was honestly Kevin Huerter's best all-around performance tonight. So, for all those Bulls fans that wanted to win, it came at a good time. I think Giddey, once again, I guess, just likes playing against Miami. He honestly, in that first half, it was a lot more off-ball decisions from Giddey that was getting most of his points, which was really good to see. That gives me a lot more faith moving forward. That we saw in that third quarter, he was really taking over in terms of his on-ball abilities, so that was good. Fourth quarter, unfortunately, he kind of disappeared, hence why we were all kind of just like, where's Kobe? And Kobe got some buckets. He made enough for it to count, but honestly, I think Matas Buzelis was the guy down the stretch that hit the 2 big shots when it was needed, and one of them was him just creating the shot himself. So that really gives me a lot of confidence in Buzelis' overall ability moving forward to be a guy that you can like just be like, hey, you have a matchup, just go, just take the isolation and just go and create a shot, and hopefully it goes in, and I'm gonna trust you on it. So I think that's overall a really good sign for Buzelis, and obviously hit the big 3 after Hero missed that 3-point shot, which was an interesting decision by Hero. I don't hate it, but I think you still take the 2 in that sort of position. So it was definitely interesting to see Hero take that, but then Buzelis came down, hit the big 3, and that was pretty much game at that point. So Billy Donovan decided to really, I think, run as if this was a playoff game. Giddey had 40 minutes. We saw all the starters, including Buzelis, get up to at least 34 minutes tonight, which has not always been the case, especially for Buzelis, right? We've seen Buzelis be below 30 a lot of games. I think, honestly, this was kind of like a preview of Billy Donovan's play-in rotations here. And it might change via the matchup, but I think this is kind of what we're going to be looking at. So I guess get used to a lot of minutes from the starters. We'll see how they kind of handle that, but it looked pretty good in this one. Dalen Terry had a pretty good first half. I don't really think he did anything in that second half, so I just want to, Casey Johnson shouted him out in that first half, which he absolutely deserved it. He hit that big 3 to end the half, but I don't really think he did anything much in that second half. Zach Collins was really nowhere to be found today. Patrick Williams, I guess, was the best player off the bench, if you want to put him as that, but nothing really to say about there. So it's heavily reliant on the starting 5 to get the job done. We saw a lot of the starting 5 get into the 20-point mark. Kobe was 2 points away. Buzelis was 3 points away. So heavily carried by the starting lineup tonight. The bench had 10 points. The bench had 14 points. Excuse me. So heavily carried by the starting unit. So props to those guys for showing out when it was the proper time to. So. Again, I don't think this is pretty. I think there were a lot of moments this game that was just like, yikes, this is not great basketball by the Bulls, but it worked out in the end. So congratulations to Jerry Reinsdorf and co. You got your extra home game, assuming that you don't pass Atlanta in the standings, which I don't really think you will. I also think Atlanta has the tiebreaker, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't think you're going to pass Atlanta in the standings, but it could happen. But at the end of the day, you're going to go and probably get your extra home game. So congratulations. You got your extra home game to get all your money. And hopefully you are bathing in that money at the end of the season, because, dear Lord, I hate the Reinsdorf so much. So congratulations on that. But we'll probably be seeing Miami in the play-in tournament. This was a nice little preview. I don't think Spoelstra showed everything, but I do think that the Bulls have shown that, hey, after beating the Heat 3 times this season, it's not going to be probably as easy for the Miami Heat, but Miami, I always say, Miami in the playoffs is no joke. Or I guess it's not playoffs, but postseason. So maybe it's one of those years where Miami is just a dead duck, but I don't ever feel comfortable ever going against Spoelstra or at least I don't think you ever should feel comfortable going against Spoelstra, but we'll see how it goes. Team kept waiting for Kobe to show up, and it got tighter and tighter there. Oh, I mean, yeah, I was just like, because again, in the fourth quarter when the game slows down, I don't think Giddey is necessarily the guy you want to go to, and we saw it. Like, Giddey really didn't do anything in that fourth quarter. He hit 1 bucket, but the ball was put in Kobe's hands. The ball was obviously put in like Herder's hands too. It was just like, hey, like we need half court offense. And again, Kobe hit enough. Like he got enough shots there where it was like, yeah, it's enough, bro. But like there were some moments, bro. I was just like, God, Kobe, this is rough from you, bro. Not a 20-point game from Kobe, but I mean, he did his job. He got with for the Bulls to win it. So props to him for getting enough at least. But this was not a good performance overall. After 30 minutes, he didn't need to break so bad, but they kept him out there with how Kobe was playing. And honestly, I think if Billy is really trying to win these games, he made the right decision, because it wasn't just the fact that Kobe was not playing well. It was also the fact that the bench was doing nothing today. So like you need to have your starters pretty much playing at all times in this one, especially in that second half. Like the second half was mostly just starters. It was barely any bench guys in that second half. So Billy talked about winning, and he honestly, I think, put out like a playoff type rotation out there. I honestly think in the playing game it might even be shorter, where we won't even see like Julian Phillips or something like that. But I won't be shocked to see if it even gets to like every single starter assuming Lonzo isn't back, which at this point I'm just assuming Lonzo's just out. I think that you're going to see kind of every single player in the starting lineup get close to 40 minutes, because I think that's necessary. I don't think he'd really rely on the bench, unfortunately, with this team. But I still like they probably should have rested him 2 minutes, as you could see his production dropped at that point a lot, being gassed. Oh, I mean, yeah, he was definitely gassed. I also thought the Bulls, they started to show some fatigue in that fourth quarter a little bit. Like the fast break opportunities just wasn't there. The guys started to slow down just a tad bit, but yeah, I would agree. I think I would have liked to have seen Giddey rest, but I mean, hey, if you're trying to win the game, like it's a do or die situation, you don't really have that opportunity. So, yeah, he really showed up, though. I hate to see the minis and floaters even when they land. I also didn't like some of the floater shots that he took. He missed a few and he made a few. But I like the off-ball cutting. I like the, going into the contact and embracing the contact and finishing, especially against some of the smaller Miami Heat guys. They embraced the contact and finish. That was great to see. And then we saw a pull-up three-point shot, which was good to see. So, good signs, right? A lot of damage is slashing, which is great to see, like you said, yeah. Give Giddey his bag. We'll see, man. I don't really know what Giddey's going to be getting. Again, it's going to be kind of dependent on what the rest of the rest of the teams have in terms of salary cap space, and then if any teams can be willing to sign and trade for him, which it's hard to pull off, but it is doable. But if I had to make a guess, I think AK is going to give him his bag, even if Giddey doesn't really get anything restricted free agency. So if people really are afraid of that, I don't think you should be. Again, the max that Giddey can get is only $38 million per season. That is the max. He can only get 25% of the salary cap next season. So if you're worried that some team's going to offer him a $50 million per year contract, I'm here to tell you right now, it's literally impossible to do that. Okay. Hence why I'm saying that, like, look, I'm still, if I was AK, I'm letting Giddey go into restricted free agency, just let him test the market. But, I think AK gives him his money, because AK traded for him and he's played pretty well down the stretch of this season. So probably going to happen. I don't know what other options that would be enough to go for, but genuinely it was like better having THT out at the end than Kobe till the fouling free throws point. I disagree. I think THT has some pretty overall bad offensive possessions, and then defensively he wasn't doing anything spectacular. So I think you still need Kobe out there, but I agree though. I think Kobe needs to do better. This was not a good game from him whatsoever. Will Giddey get bang bang? Yeah, Giddey did his job, bro. The biggest thing for me, again, from this game is, like, I'm always just concerned about, like, his off-ball stuff. The rebounding is the rebounding. But if he does this off-ball consistently, then I'm feeling pretty good about him moving forward. We know what he can do on ball if he gets the ball consistently, but I don't know if he's going to be getting the ball consistently if someone else comes along and takes like the ball more. So that's just my biggest fear. But if he's going to be consistently cutting off ball like this, then I'm like, okay, great, awesome. Then I feel really good about you moving forward. Sorry about the ad. I don't know why ad block's not working. But yeah, I felt a lot better about Giddey after this game, compared to some of the other games where he's like putting up a lot of stuff, but it's all just kind of on ball. This was a really good game from Giddey. Like, this was like from start to end, except that fourth quarter where he was pretty gassed and the team needed to go to someone else. But this is like everything I wanted to see from Giddey. Off ball effectiveness, we saw the rebounding on both ends, right? And sometimes he just tipped it back out and he didn't get credit for the offensive rebound, but it was still him. And then we saw then in the third quarter where he really would seem like he was leading the charge, especially in transition. So that's like everything I want to see from Josh Giddey. It's all about obviously continuing this sort of performance, because he's had a few bad performances, but this is it. Like, this is what I want to see moving forward. So, if you're one of the people who want the Bulls to win the playing game, you hope Giddey does this again, because it's gonna be against the same Miami team, most likely at the same place. And I don't know if it's a Wednesday. I think it might actually be a Wednesday, or it might be Thursday. But yeah, this is what you want to see again. So. You're gonna pray for it. Now THT's good for 10 minutes and he breaks down. I don't think THT need to be out there any longer than he played. Honestly, I'm happy with how much THT played today. I was fine with it. He wasn't really like doing anything special, so yeah, I'm fine with that. feels like they need every bit of Kevin Josh for this one. They both have legit nagging injuries. Actually, not sure they get this one if they weren't rested. Actually, yeah, I don't know if they would. And especially with how Giddey looked gassed down the stretch, I don't know if they would have gotten it if they weren't rested. However, I still think that, you know, not playing against Cleveland is a stupid decision. I still think that is one of the dumbest decisions ever if you're trying to make the playoffs, because again, like, you're basically settling for the 9 seed in this sort of situation, okay? But coming into that Cleveland game, you still had a legitimate shot of getting that 7 seed, or sorry, the 8 seed. Like, that's a much better chance of you making the playoffs if you get that 8 seed. There is a higher chance you make the playoffs. So the fact that they rested guys, it's still mind-boggling to me. I don't understand it, but you got what you wanted. I think it was dumb as hell, but you got what you wanted. So congratulations. You also get the extra ticket money. So congratulations on that. Imagine they have that break, though. I mean, yeah, but I also still am just saying I think it's a dumb decision for what they did. We were struggling with the Heat. No, this was definitely a struggle bus, bro. This was not a clean game by the Bulls by any sort of means. And I think it genuinely took every bit of the starting lineup for what they put up today to go ahead and win tonight. You know, again, almost every single starter had almost had 20 points. 3 of them were at the 20-point mark. Giddey had a 28-point triple-double. Buzelis had to hit 2 big shots down the stretch, and it was still pretty close. So it doesn't really make me feel too great about them, but they got what they wanted, so they got home court advantage, which I don't know if is an advantage for them, honestly. It's a game where no Kobe was felt, mostly needing another consistent score for the closing minutes that Kobe sometimes is. Yeah, I completely agree. Like, Kobe throughout this game started out bad. There's some bad overall decisions in the half court that was pretty bad. He also then took a 3 we probably shouldn't have in transition, which again, I can kind of live with those decisions a little bit more in transition, especially if there are rebounders, but I know a lot of people didn't like that. But it was really, honestly, when I was watching him in the half-court game where he just couldn't get to the basket for whatever reason, I was just like, bro, like, you're picking your dribble up too quickly. You're running into, like, Khalil Ware, and he's blocking you off completely. Like, that was the sort of stuff that was really concerning with Kobe. And then, obviously, the three-point shot wasn't going down. So, yeah, the Bulls needed every point Kobe gave them in that fourth quarter with the free throw line and then some of the few buckets he got. But this needed to be a better performance from him, bro. Especially, like, I don't think you can rely on Kevin Huerter having a 22-point game or whatever it was tonight. Like, that's not something you can rely on. As good as he's been, I don't think that's something you want to rely on moving forward. Kobe has to be there. And I'm going to wonder if this is going to, if he's going to show up, right? So, we'll see. We had the same record you're saying, like we were first in the East. Well, the only reason why I'm just like, hey, this was a struggle bus was just because, like, guys rested, I was hoping the Bulls, like, if this was going to all work out to their favor, it's like, hey, go out there and slap this team in the mouth and, show, like, hey, the rest was actually worth it. It probably was worth it to close out this game, but the way that this was played today, I was just like, yikes, man. Like, that, I don't know. It was a messy game. And knowing that you rested last game, I'm not impressed by it. But maybe I'm just being too critical of it. They're gonna, let's be real, they're just sitting there able to bond like all their players level. What's going on? Kick me down. Yeah, congratulations. Woohoo. Good job, everybody. Well, you gonna make the playoffs? I don't know, bro. Again, if you're the 9 or 10 seed, it is really tough to make it. Reminder, the Bulls still have to go and beat Washington and Philly. We lost to Washington earlier in the season. That was with Levine, so, take that whatever you want. But we have lost to Washington before, so I'm assuming that the Bulls are going to beat both Philly and Washington. It would be pretty stupid if they don't, but you still have to go and beat them. Miami also has 2 very winnable games, so, like, if you lose one, I think you still have the tiebreaker, but if you happen to lose both, that would be very funny. But yeah, like, you still have to go take care of business. But either way, like, let's say you are the 9 seed, I still think it's a pretty tough road. I don't want the Bulls in the playoffs personally, but it could happen. Yeah, it could definitely happen. But I don't know, man. Home court advantage, I kind of feel like it works against the Bulls, so we'll see. Didn't want us to win today. I'm just venting a bit. I mean, hey, I'm also gonna vent a little bit about today. He'll actually finish tonight too. I'll take the yeah, we'll take the small victories from Patrick Williams, where he finished a layup with his left hand, and also a dunk. He finished a dunk on a good hard cut. Awesome. That was finally something that we have not seen for a while, so good job. Needs up to 35.7%, 35.7% for 3-point range on the year, something to watch. So here's my only thing with that. Dalen Terry is basically shooting 50% from like 3-point range in like the last like 3 weeks. So as much as I want to be like, hey, this is something to look at, I also just think that this is a hot streak, and I'm not that convinced. As much as I want to give him like the Giddey benefit of the doubt, like how Giddey has continued his good 3-point shooting, or how Kobe has continued his good scoring, DT is basically shooting 50% from 3-point range for like 3 weeks or something like that. It's been around there. I don't think that's going to continue, unfortunately. Obviously, not 50%, but I mean, yeah, ideally he would continue to around 36%, but I don't know. It's been kind of just it's a very up and down thing for Dalen Terry. So he hit a couple threes, obviously, tonight, which were huge, but I don't really know if I want to be relying on that anytime soon. Yeah, 2 minutes resting, he would hit 30 points easily. Maybe if it was like rested at the proper time, where you can get more transition opportunities, but I'm not sure. Great seeing Buzelis hit the dagger with confidence. Oh, bro, seeing Buzelis shoot that with no hesitation, like not even thinking about it. He released it quickly before the defense could really even get out onto him. Oh my God, like I was genuinely so happy for that moment, because I'm just like, Patrick Williams doesn't shoot that. Other guys definitely don't shoot that shot, and they don't knock it down with full confidence. To see Buzelis hit that shot after he hit that, you know, like whole like ISO shot where he had to kind of dribble his way around and like made a little bit of a floater, that's awesome. Like that's a phenomenal sign for Buzelis, is that, hey, I can go and in a crunch time situation, I can go and get my own shot and create like a paint look for myself, but then also in a crunch time situation, I can also be a guy in the corner and hit an open 3-point shot when it's needed. That's the way you become an all-around player, and this is where I was heavily looking at Buzelis for this season throughout the year, and he's already passed this, by the way, but I'm just pointing it out again. For Buzelis, at least in my opinion, throughout this season, I was not necessarily looking at like his on-ball creation or like anything like his dribble package. Like there's obviously been great flashes, but like I'm not necessarily like honing in on that. I just wanted to see, hey, can you go and be a guy without the basketball and effectively shoot the 3-point shot with full confidence and get the shot off quickly, and move within the offense without the basketball effectively? And he did just that for most of the season. Like he's done just that for most of the season. And then to see then in a big game, right? This is probably his first ever time in a playoff type atmosphere for him. He goes and he hits that dagger when it was absolutely needed for the Bulls in that sort of spot, because if they do miss that shot, then if they get that rebound and they're running out on the other end of the floor, like it's still a game. But he knocked that shot down, he was open. He had no thoughts of not shooting it. He was looking to pull the trigger right when he got the basketball, shot it quickly before the defense could even get out onto him, and he drained it. That is huge. I can't say how much that was just so important for just everyone to look at, because that's gonna be the guy moving forward where I'm like, okay, he's our forward of the future. I don't know about Patrick Williams, and hell, we might need another forward of the future, but he's definitely one of the forwards of the future. That right there, with all of his struggles this season, it's like that sort of moment, it gives me full confidence moving forward that, okay, yeah, I'm not sure what he's going to turn into, but he's definitely the forward of the future. He's that guy down the stretch of games that I need out there. He's the guy in the starting lineup that I'm going to need out there, and that's going to be humongous to keep track of. And it's gonna be just big for the Bulls if he can actually live up to that potential. So I'm so happy, man, to see that dagger go down for Buzelis and him just to take it with no hesitation. Awesome stuff from Buzelis. And he honestly, I think in my opinion, like he didn't necessarily score like consistently throughout the game, but I think he had one hell of a game even without him like taking a bunch of shots and without him like scoring in bunches or running point four like we saw yesterday, he went out there and he effectively played great defense. That even if it didn't show up in the box score, he guarded from guys between Bam Adebayo to Andrew Wiggins to Duncan Robinson throughout the entire game, and he guarded them all pretty effectively. That's great. Not saying it was perfect defense tonight from Buzelis, but to go from defending all these different sort of guys throughout the entire game and defend them pretty well, like, everything about that is awesome. And again, it's a big game, so this was a humongous overall outing for Buzelis, and I don't think it's going to necessarily be talked about enough. But I mean, Bulls fans, Patrick Williams, I know a lot of people had so much promise for the guy, and we saw some flashes in that rookie season. But when we talk about what we want to see from a rookie, it's not necessarily the results consistently that you want to see as a rookie. You want to see some flashes for sure, but it's the mental edge that they're going to have. It's the IQ that they consistently show. It's all their physical attributes being on full display and them knowing how to use that attributes correctly throughout certain games. It's not going to be consistent every single night, and Buzelis definitely, throughout the month of March had some rough moments, but to see moments like this, right, in a pretty massive game is huge. This is what it's about when we want to see from a rookie. This is what gives people like me, people that analyze this team a lot, this is what gives us confidence in someone like Buzelis, is because we see stuff like this where you do things where the results doesn't necessarily always matter. For example, like, he could go and play great defense and the guy could still hit the shot. Like, the result says, oh, the guy made a shot over Montes Buzelis. But if he still went out there and played the correct defense against many different positions throughout the game, then that's all I care about. I don't care about the results, right? And Buzelis, throughout even his struggles this season, has shown a lot. Where he's like, okay, he missed this layup here, but my God, I can't believe you were able to even generate a shot at the rim. He launches the three-point shot with full confidence in the corner off, quick swing around the perimeter. He launches it with no hesitation. He gets it off quickly and doesn't even think about it. He may have missed it. He may have airballed it, but it's the fact that he took it and shot it correctly at the right time is what I care about more. And I think it's honestly, you're seeing it pay off now at the end of the season right now, where it seems like the game is starting to slow down just a little bit for him. Again, still rookie. There's still some moments for him where it's not amazing, but this is it. Like, this is everything that we wanted to see from a rookie, and we're getting it. So I hope it continues, man. Dalen looks like such a different player when the three ball is falling. Oh, if Dalen's hitting the three-point shot, he's an effective player. That's the problem, is that can he hit the three-point shot? Because then if he doesn't hit the three-point shot, then he's trying to drive to the basket consistently, and he just doesn't have that. So, yeah. If Dalen can hit the three-point shot, he's a completely different player, like you said, and he's an effective player. The problem is that has not been the case throughout the season. So, say the same thing as clutch shots tell you a lot about a player. Oh man, it's huge, and it's not necessarily, again, like, I'm just happy he took it because it's the right time to take that shot. If he had missed it, it's still the right shot. The fact that he took it though is humongous, because I know Patrick Williams would not have shot that. Loki has Loki has a lot of not showing the box score things that look good. Yeah, bro. Like, the stuff that isn't always in the box score for Buzelis, like his defense against Duncan Robinson today was incredible. He was guarding Duncan Robinson on multiple occasions, and he did not let Duncan Robinson get those threes off the screens. Like, Duncan Robinson's coming off pin downs for handoffs, and we know Duncan Robinson can go off at any moment, especially against his Bulls team. We've seen it before. And Buzelis is like consistently getting through the screen and using his length to prevent the shot from going up. That doesn't show up in the box score at all, but it's like, hey, this is good defense from a guy that started the game guarding Bam Adebayo. Like, that's crazy. Where's Hawkeye? If he don't want him, I'll take him. I think he's injured, honestly. I'm not entirely sure. No, he's not injured. Oh, DMP CD. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. He is a little bit on the older side as a sophomore, but sure, yeah, we'll gladly take him. Jovic was out tonight, right? Yeah. So that'd be the other guy I would personally take, but yeah. Oh my, here's the giddy butt man. Ah, hi Gary. Yeah, I'm definitely the giddy butt man. Hey, I give Giddy his props, so I don't know what you want from me. You want to still call me a hater? Go ahead. I'm here for it. But I give Giddy his props. He was absolutely the biggest reason why the Bulls won tonight. And I was very, very impressed with his first half. And it was not necessarily him being on ball; it was him being off ball. And that was incredible to see from him, because that gives me more confidence moving forward from him as an effective overall player versus him being on the ball and getting a lot of stats. But it's like, I know that if you're on ball, like, you're gonna get those stats, but I need to see if you can be off ball and still get the stats, and he proved that tonight, which is great. So call me a hater still, I guess, if you want to, but I think you could find more better Josh Giddey haters than me. I don't think it's really that bad of me to be like, hey, a lot of Bulls fans think that this guy's gonna be a superstar, so therefore I hold him to a superstar standard, if that's the case. So, I don't think it's necessarily me hating. I'm just I'm holding guys to a certain standard, like I've held Kobe to all season long, like I've held Patrick Williams to all season long. I'm like, I expect a certain level of play from you guys. That's my standard level, and if you don't hit that, then I'm gonna call it out. And apparently then I'm called a hater if I think that you're playing below par. So sure, call me a hater if you want me to, but I feel like a lot of Bulls fans would also agree with me that if someone's not playing up to par, like Kobe White did tonight, he was not playing up to par tonight, then you did not do your job. Hence, then we have to call you out and say, hey, listen, you got to play better. We'll talk about why there are certain decisions that I feel like you could have done better. But if you also play up to standard, then we're going to talk about why you played up to standard. So, call me a hater if you want to, but this is the way I look at things. If you disagree with me, that's completely fine. But that's just the way I always do my analysis. Giddy's in the fourth quarter, yes, but he was also gassed, was lacking hard from Kobe. Oh, I completely agree. Yeah. What do you mean, DT was 6 points? Well, I mean, again, wait, what is that question about? I wonder if we were even losing more than 5 minutes for the entire game. I feel like we had control of the whole game, even with Kobe having a really rough game. No, I don't know. I don't think the Bulls really had control of this one. This was, like, you see here in the second half for the Bulls, it looked pretty good, right? Like, the midpoint in the second quarter into the second half. But it was definitely rough for the first half. And then the second half came along, and then it was this moment kind of here in the fourth quarter where it was just like, because reminder, this is the 5 point difference. So it's like the Heat were kind of here, like they're kind of hovering around here for a little bit, and it was just like, some missed free throws and from the Heat that kind of helped, and some bad turnovers, especially early in the fourth quarter. I don't know if the Bulls really had that the entire way. It worked out eventually. They kind of collected themselves, and then they got up to the 13-point lead with like four and a half left to go. But there was some moments where it was pretty sloppy basketball. I won't lie. So yeah, I'm personally, I don't know if this was that clean of a game, if I had to make any sense. If I had to make any sense of this one, it's just like, ugh, not clean all the way. Giddey led the team in every shot tonight. Wild, yeah. This was by far like everything, like the total package from Josh Giddey of off ball, on ball, defense. Like it was everything tonight, right? 3-point shot, like this is everything. So. Reminder, again, there are some Bulls fans that tell me that this is the guy that we should be seeing every single night. So, to Gary, to people that want to call me the hater, I'm like, listen, if this is the case, then if I'm supposed to expect 28 points and a triple-double every single night, then where's the 28-point triple-double every single night? Like, I'm just pointing that out, because, like, there's some Bulls fans that all of a sudden are like, oh no, he's not going to be an all-star, but, like, or no, they think he's going to be an all-star, but, like, if he doesn't put up an all-star level performance, it's okay. I'm like, no, like, this is a guy that's about to get paid. Like, I want to see all-star level performances from him, which he's done consistently since the post-all-star break, but pre-all-star break, he didn't do that at all. Now you could argue maybe a few games pre-all-star break, he just didn't have it. And then there were some games, kind of coming to the end of March into April that weren't great from him. But mostly from post-all-star break, he's been an all-star caliber player. I'm like, okay, but this is what I expect from him. So if you're going to tell me this is the all-star of the future, then I'm like, I need to see the all-star consistently night in, night out. And again, he's about to get paid. So if you want to call me a hater for that, fine. But I would personally really disagree with you in that if I hold a player to a certain standard because I'm told from certain people and also from the way the front office kind of values a player that this player is supposed to play this certain sort of way and be a leading charge of this team moving forward, then I'm like, okay, well, I better be seeing this on a consistent basis. Again, I wasn't just calling Giddey out this entire season. I was calling Kobe White out for a lot of this season, saying that a lot of Bulls fans expected Kobe White to take a major step forward and, average like 23 points per game this season. And I'm like, okay, it hasn't happened he didn't have it in the first 50 games of the season until March clicked and he was the player of the month, right? So if you want consistency from me, I'm giving you consistency. I called out Kobe for most of the first half of the season. I was saying he was a bad player. I was like, bro, this is not good enough from Kobe White. We were expecting more from you. Like, people think you're going to become an all-star, and it's like, bro, where is it, right? Giddey, same thing. He wasn't playing good in the first half of the season. So I've given his props. I have really given him his props. But that being said, I like I consistently said with these two guys, you can't just show up at the end of the second half of the season and be like, okay, yeah, we're good. We're moving on. No. This has to continue moving forward. This doesn't just end at the second half of the season, okay? A lot of Bulls fans are trying to convince me, oh, this is enough. Like, these are your all-stars of the future. This is it. And I'm like, listen, I hope that this is the case. I hope these guys become the all-stars of the future for this team. But just because they have performed in the games after the All-Star break does not show you enough by any means that this is your backcourt of the future. There's good signs, but the job is nowhere near done. Like, I'm shocked that there's Bulls fans that are complaining about the fact that I'm asking for more in the next season. Like, that's not what that's not something that I just gonna be like, oh yeah, don't worry, he played really well from February, March, and April, therefore I'm not concerned if he has a pretty bad month of November. Like, that's not how it's going to work, bro. You need to go out there, and if you're going to be an all-star, there is a level that you have to play. You're a top 12 player in your conference if you're an all-star level player, okay? There are 15 teams in each conference, all right? There's 15 different starting lineups. You have to understand being an all-star level player, what an all-star level player means, okay? That's not me being a hater. If you expect all-star level play from these guys, then here it is, right? This is the standard. You better hit it. It can't just be, all right, post All-Star break, we didn't make the All-Star team, but post All-Star break, we'll play like All-Stars. But starting next season, though, we're back to where we were at the start of last season. That can't happen, right? So that's what I'm saying. It's still up in the air with these guys. At least for me, I'm like, you got to bring it next season. Like, you can't just sit. I can't have you start the next season bad and be like, oh, don't worry, we'll wait until March. That's not how this is gonna work, bro. I'm sorry. If that's the problem with you, then I recommend you not to come to this channel anymore. Because to me, when it comes to a rebuilding level type of team like this, there's standards. Okay, you have to hit these standards if you're gonna be given money, given responsibility, but also given the keys to the franchise of helping trying to rebuild the next overall winning team. Okay, there's levels. Gabe Flair needs to never be seen again. Yeah, I agree with you. $150 million for 5 years. I think that's too much personally. I think the Bulls can get Giddey on cheaper than that. I would not offer him that. If someone offers Giddey that, then you know what, so be it. But I don't think any team's gonna offer Josh Giddey a $150 million contract for over 5 years. That'd be pretty insane, personally. But I mean, it could happen. I guess it could. I just don't see it ever happening. Y'all see 1,500 set with LeBron, Joker, Giddey, crazy? Yeah, it is pretty nuts. Yeah, I mean, it's good to see Giddey get into those categories because, like, that's what everyone's been telling that he should get into, right? You know, the other players, I think Luka, because he's missed so many games, like, he would be in that category too. But yeah, it's a good overall sign for Giddey. So again, gotta continue it. Can't just do, half a season. He has like a signature backwards layup thing he does that is insane that he can consistently hit that shot. Yeah, that's been something that I've been noticing as well. It's just like when he uses his body to get into the defender and take the contact and then reverse it, like that's great. Like I would much rather you shoot that shot over the floater. And that's fantastic. So I really think that's a really good thing from Giddey just to keep doing. There was only one lead change, 3 ties, so once they recovered from the slow start to take the lead, they kept it until the finish. But Miami got within 6 many times. Like, that's my point. Like, in my definition of being in control of the game, you have like a double-digit point lead like throughout. Like, the Bulls didn't have a lead until halfway through, or, you know, more than halfway through the second quarter. And then throughout the third and fourth quarters, Miami kept getting within 6, and even within 5 at one point. That, to me, isn't necessarily you have control of the game. You didn't give up the lead, but you're not necessarily in control of the game. Like, being in control of the game, to me, is like, no, you have like a double-digit lead consistently. I thought Miami had their chances, honestly. Like, there were some pretty sloppy moments from the Bulls, man. Mata's good? Yeah, Mata's is good, bro. Did we get any updates on Trey Jones? Will he be back for the play-in? The last update we got was when Casey Johnson was talking about against, I think it was the Trailblazers, where it was an update about Lonzo and then also about Trey Jones. It sounded like Trey Jones is not on his way back anytime soon. I don't think he's even started like ramping up or anything. So I think Trey Jones is probably, we just have to assume, is out. I'm also just gonna assume Lonzo's gonna be out moving forward, because hell, bro, I've been pretty annoyed with how this has been handled with Lonzo. I think he should just be shut down for the rest of the season. But like, the Bulls really want to try to get him to play, and I'm like, I don't think you should try to push him at this point. Just let him sit. You know, don't risk the wrist. Just let him sit. And honestly, it doesn't seem like he's gonna be kind of back anytime soon, but who knows, man. I mean, like, they've talked about he's practiced and he's like ramping up, but like, he says the wrist is not feeling too good, so I don't know where we're at with that. You think is getting north of 30 million now? Again, the max contract, I just want to point this out one more time. The max contract for Josh Giddey, the most that any team, Bulls or other team, can offer Josh Giddey this upcoming offseason in free agency, the first year is $38 million. The first year, okay? Like, I'm telling you right now, we're talking about the first year for Josh Giddey is $38 million. That is the most amount of money that he can get, okay? That is 25% of the salary cap for next season. Salary cap's gonna be listed at $154.6 million, all right? So, knowing that, okay, like, I don't think there's gonna be many people wanting to pay 25% of their salary cap for Josh Giddey, especially because he's a restricted free agent and the Bulls can just match any offer, right? Like, I just don't think that's gonna be the case. So, I don't think he's going to get north of 30 million. I really think 30 million is probably the most. I'd be shocked if it gets any higher than that. Again, restricted free agency. If this was unrestricted free agency, I think he gets more than 30 million. But we're talking about restricted free agency, and I don't think there's any teams with salary cap space. So, again, besides Brooklyn. Brooklyn's the only team. So, I still think you can get him up for under $30 million. I would personally be shocked if it is anywhere close to the max contract, which would be $38 million a season, which is, or it would go up every year, but it would start at $38 million. Because, once again, if you think that there's going to be a team that offers Josh Giddey a $45 million per year contract, I'm telling you right now, it is legitimately impossible to do so. The rules state that if a player has 6 years or less of experience in the NBA, Josh Giddey only has 4, okay? The most they can get from the salary cap is 25% of the salary cap. 25% of the salary cap for next season's projected salary cap is $38 million, okay? So I just don't think that many teams are going to be willing to offer a max contract to Josh Giddey. I'm talking about a max contract, okay? But yeah, I could be proven wrong here. The only team that has that money is the Brooklyn Nets. There's one team that has that money, and that's the Brooklyn Nets. And I don't think they're going to give it to him. So, and that, with knowing that, I would just let Giddey test restricted free agency and see what he can get, and dare him to go and get a contract that is north of $30 million a season. Now, unfortunately, if we're talking about AK and his dumbass and his stupidity about things, I could see AK just giving Giddey a full-out bag and not even let him hit restricted free agency, and do the stupid route. But we'll see. Let's see how this works. So it seemed to me, if Kobe wasn't having such a rough night shooting, I think we would have ran away with the game. I disagree personally, but I think the Bulls defense was not really that great throughout most of this game. But that's just my opinion. Giddey's 100% getting more than 30 million. I disagree. I also disagree with that. I don't think he's getting more than 30 million. I think 30 million is the cap, personally. You think maybe he rested them because he tended to shrink the rotation using the main guys more than usual? That's probably the case, yeah. Or it was just the front office being the front office. That's the only team with cap to give him 30 at the moment. Like I said, oh, this last year makes Herder tradable. I would love that personally. Get Herder off this roster, but yeah, we'll see. Watch Bulls games on Bulls Reddit Discord server, and some people want Herder to stay even if he is tradable, and I don't get it. Yeah, a lot of Bulls fans want that now, but it's just for me. I just think that there's better use of the money. If let's say you can't find any better use of like the $20 million that Herder's going to be making next, or sorry, $18 million Herder's going to be making next season. Then, like, sure, if you can re-sign him to, like, a pretty cheap contract where it's, like, $10 million a season, awesome. Or, like, 12 or whatever it is. If you, like, for me, though, I'm just, like, I would love to just get the contract off the books so that we can, one, make sure we re-sign Giddey, two, we re-sign Trey Jones, and then try to see if you can make any other deals. But, you know, he's had a really nice go of things, and he's you know, outperformed my expectations. I still don't think that like he's anything spectacular in a sense of like, hey, we have our starting small forward of the future or anything like that. But he's done really well here, and I am going to be in agreement that I would hope that we can move him. But there is definitely a world where the Bulls just keep him and try to re-sign him. He is extension eligible next season, so I wouldn't be shocked if the Bulls try to lock him up, but that would be a dumb decision to do because we have a ton of cap space moving forward, and I would not want to use up any of the cap space whatsoever. So, hence, trade him. Without her, we don't have another go-to three-point shooter besides Kobe. Maybe that's why. But I understand that thought process, but I think you can go and get three-point shooting pretty easily. Also, like, seeing guys like Buzelis take threes, like Dale and Terry, for God's sake, that you guys are talking about shoot threes, right? And if Lonzo can come back, then he would also be a great three-point shooter to have. Like, I think there's enough. You know, Jalen Smith's in the rotation, that's another guy. But I personally, I'm just like, he's making $18 million next season. Like, I would like to get the money off the books if I could. I'm aware it's probably hard to do that, but I would love to get the money off the books if I could. That'd be ideal. I don't get why you don't get about that. I don't think he's untradeable. We'll definitely take a first if it was available. Oh, I mean, we're definitely not getting a first for Kevin Herter. There's no shot. He's last year of his contract next season. Like, you're not getting a first for him. But the problem is just that Herter's making $18 million next season. He's making $60 million this year. But $18 million next season for a guy that is probably coming off the bench is just a lot of money. Hence why it's like, I don't know how many teams would want him. You know, a rebuilding team might want Kevin Herter. You know, maybe just take the money on, but I don't think many other teams are be willing to pay $18 million for a guy to come off the bench. You know, granted, it seemed like the Memphis Grizzlies wanted to, you know, trade for Lonzo Ball to come off the bench. He's making $21 million this year, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really think many teams would want him personally. Is it weird that the Bulls are doing a better job after All-Star break at being the teams they're supposed to be and anything middle pack? Can't see them doing that versus anything decent. Lakers, No, I agree. I mean, they're beating the mediocre teams for sure, and then obviously the bad teams. They haven't beat any of the good teams besides the Lakers. And I guess was it Denver? I forget. But well, it was Denver without Jokic, and then it was Indiana without Tyrese Halliburton. That's what it was. But I mean, yeah, they're doing their job of being the mediocre team, so they've done a good job. Her off the bench is a nice two-way blend for next season. I'm not thrilled with it. Again, it's more so about the money than the player itself. If I remove the money, yes, I agree with you. If I include the money, though, I don't like the idea. Because again, like that means coming off the bench, you have between Io and Herter, you have $25 million combined off the bench between those two guys. Like that's a lot, but yeah, that's my GM brain talking. If he took the reins like this a few weeks earlier and the award voting itself wasn't broken, is he in most improved player talks? Honestly, who even is in most improved player talks? I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody easily. Dyson Daniels is a good call. Moist. Whoops. I hate the Kid Cunningham Christian Brown's a nice overall guy to look at. This is spelled incorrectly. Yeah, I don't like that these guys are here. Like the CK Cunningham and Evan Mobley on this list is pretty stupid. I guess Victor would have been also what that's also that's stupid. Yeah, I honestly might just be Dyson Daniels to lose at this point. Don't know if Giddey would have gotten past someone like Reeves and how good he's improved, but maybe he's in the discussion. K already was this good nearly last season. It's his cast. Dyson should win MVP Defensive Player of the Year if it wasn't biased to bigs. The only thing though is just that like Mobley has a really good argument. That's all I'm gonna say. I think Dyson Daniels obviously has a very good argument, but I do think Mobley has a very good argument, and he has the winning argument, unfortunately. So, I unfortunately think that it might go to Mobley just because of that. Draymond also recently has played really well. I personally wouldn't give it to him, but he's played really well. I'm talking about Defensive Player of the Year. So yeah, I think it goes to Mobley though, and I'm not upset at that. It would have gone obviously to Wembanyama if he was still playing, but he's not. His on-off-court argument is a fair, given he's always taking the minutes matches to the offensive engine of the other team. That is fair. The unfortunate part, again, is just the lack of winning. So, yeah. The Bulls plus-minus is very telling in this game. Monsters to the future, but not alongside P. Will. I think the plus-minus isn't exactly perfect again, but it does kind of show you, holy hell, the starting lineup really carried. Like, everybody in the starting lineup was positive. Everyone on the bench was either negative or zero. Starting lineup, hella carried today. Good job. I don't get why. Why do you want him gone? It's money reasons, Tyler. Like, if I was able to remove the money from Kevin Huerter, then it's like, okay, yeah, we have a nice like shooter that come off the bench that has decent size and can kind of do a little bit of other stuff as well. I think defensively he's still kind of mediocre. He still kind of gets lost off ball defensively. On ball is nothing special, but it's not horrible. But like it's a guy that heavily relies on his three-point shot, and then he's shown some interior finishing as the season's gone on. If I can have him come off the bench and not worry about the money, then yeah, I would love him off the bench. The problem is that, and I'm gonna pull this up now so you guys understand where I'm coming from. But when I talk about like money reasons, like Spot Track is a good source for it, and I it's a good way to look at things, but when I tell you guys, like, and this is from my video I made earlier, which I know a lot of people don't understand, but like when I look at this whole thing, okay, this is what I look at this a lot, if you're wondering, all right. But if, let's say for example, okay, and this was based off of what we did in the video, okay? So in the video, I still had Giddey only make I thought he would only make about $20 million at the time. Reminder, this was in the middle of March. So let's say instead now, okay, let's say that Giddey actually gets the $30 million that everyone hopes that he can get. All right, doing this alone, right? It puts the Bulls, and I'm gonna bring up Epic Pen now to make you guys understand what I'm talking about here. It puts the Bulls in a very tough spot, okay? If, let's say Giddey gets the $30 million contract that everyone thinks he's going to be able to get, okay? So if you're wondering, I added $30 million to Giddey, okay? The thing to look at is this, okay? If you're not always aware of what to look at, what changes when I type in numbers, it's these two numbers in green and in red, okay? The room under the cap is green, the room under the tax is red. If Josh Giddey got $30 million, okay, in his first year of his contract, and then assuming that the Bulls try to re-sign Trey Jones, but he gets to like $12 million, which would be a pretty nice deal for Trey Jones. But if that was the case, the Bulls would only have $3.7 million under the luxury tax. They would have no money, basically, to do anything else. So if you want the Bulls to spend their mid-level exception, you can't spend it, right? If you want the Bulls to spend their biannual exception, you can't spend it. Okay, like this is the reason why when I'm talking about with someone like Kevin Huerter, if I can just remove this money, okay, again, keep in mind like where my cursor is right now. This is what I'm looking at. If I can remove his money off the books suddenly, look at what it does. We don't have any cap space, but Reminder, the non-taxpayer mid-level exception is at $14 million this upcoming offseason, okay? Biannual is at 5. If you want to get some guys in the offseason, okay, you need to have room under the luxury tax, because we know the Bulls are never going to go into the luxury tax. We just know that, okay? So if I can get rid of Kevin Huerter's money because he makes too much for what his overall production is, then it opens up the Bulls to spend this non-taxpayer mid-level exception and get a guy on a pretty team-friendly deal moving forward. That's the reason why, like, for someone like me, who, yes, I think Huerter has come and he's outperformed my expectations. He's played pretty well. He's offered the three-point shooting that the Bulls needed, especially with LaVine moving on. Like, yes, he's played well, but if I could remove his contract, that'd be a huge win, at least in my book, because then you're going to be able to get some guys in free agency with a non-taxpayer mid-level exception to spend, and potentially even spend the biannual. But the biggest thing is that these guys are going to be on team-friendly deals. That's the most important part. Huerter is, again, then extension eligible next season, and I just don't want to spend money into 2026-27. As you can see here, and this is not including the Josh Giddey or Trey Jones upcoming contracts, but I've included the first round picks that are projected, and et cetera, but the Bulls would have a ton of room under the salary cap, and this is without the Josh Giddey deals. So let's say he gets 30. If he gets $30 million, let's just say he gets 33 million or something around there. I'll just say 33 million. And then Trey Jones, it would go up to like 13.5. I'm just, again, this is just estimates, okay? Like, the Bulls would still have $70 million in cap space, like, even in this sort of scenario. So I don't want to re-sign Huerter then. Like, I would much rather just, like, make sure that you spend your money elsewhere, at least in my opinion. But, you know, Bulls fans have their ways. I'm not here to try to convince anybody of anything. I think I would happily trade Kevin H for sure. AH unlikely to stay this good, and you can find better fit timeline for the Bulls. But again, for me, it's mostly just about the money, but there's also maybe that argument. Because we have 2 guards that are literally untradeable coming back next season. I mean, that is also true. Yeah. If this is the Huerter that comes back next year, he and I off the bench is impressive. Again, though, we just have so many guards, so yeah. I think I was well overrated per Trey on core over Io might be controversial. I think it's pretty controversial after Io put up a career high points per game this season, but that's just my opinion. Yeah, there, but Huerter could play wing and a 6'7" and a shooter, and is playing good defense. If we trade him, we need to replace that. But isn't it then the argument, like, we have that in Lonzo if he's here? Like, Lonzo does everything that Kevin Huerter does, but is a better defender. And you can use a non-taxpayer mid-level exception to go and get more shooting. That's kind of just, I'm willing to just kind of move on, personally. But, man, that's just my opinion. Fair episode, we got rid of IL for Trey Lawlivit, actually. Duncan after we rested against the Kazmad. Again, I was only upset about that because there are Bulls fans that were defending Arturas Karnisovas and Mark Eversley and Billy Donovan for saying, yeah, resting these guys when we're trying to make the playoffs is a good decision. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, you're trying to make the playoffs, bro. That's a horrible decision, but sure. Yeah, if you're wondering, Tyler, like, why I would want Huerter off the roster, it's what I showed you. Like, it's just the money. Like, it's the same thing with Zach Collins. Like, Zach Collins, like, yes, he's come in and he started out pretty good when he's in the starting lineup with us, and then he's kind of not exactly been that impressive since, but like, he's done his job. I'm not necessarily complaining, but it's just like, this guy's making $18 million next season. Like, if I could, like, same thing with Vooch, like, if I could, I would love to get the money off the books. It's not necessarily anything against him. It's just the fact that you just have money on the books. And heading into next season, the Bulls just don't have any cap space. But being able to open up any sort of tax room would be huge. Like, that, to be able to use the entire non-taxpayer mid-level exception, I think is a big priority, at least in my opinion. So, if you can move guys like Collins and Huerter, it'd be fantastic. Odds of that happening, especially for Collins, I don't think it's very high. Huerter, maybe, especially with the way he's playing, it could happen. Maybe some contending team would want a good shooter, but it'd be hard. I think all defensive with Wemby out should actually be more guards this year. Ludor for sure on it, and Iraq amazing guards this year. Suggs even looked almost second team worthy. Suggs definitely would have been there if he didn't get injured. I think he didn't play enough games though. So, yeah. He's like Trey Jones, we can only play one position, I get that, but Trey Jones has been playing the shooting guard, though. Like, he's playing next to Josh Giddey, and if you want to call Giddey the point guard, then Trey Jones has been playing the shooting guard. So, that's just kind of my I'm like, I think Trey Jones is kind of, you know, he's been kind of moving over as well. It's not necessarily Trey Jones' only point. It's not a strictly guard. He's 6'7", has been playing wing pretty majority. No, I agree with you, but I think that this team has plenty of those. Like, Dalen Terry's a wing. Julian Phillips is also a wing. And Lonzo Ball, if he comes back, is also a wing. Patrick Williams is a wing. And yes, I understand that the lack of three-point shooting, you might be worried about it, but I still think you could go and get more three-point shooting in the offseason. I love Giddey. He's always been optimistic, but it confounds me. He gets the Lucas/LeBron level of Glazers. Oh, that's also the thing I'm also confused about. But I don't need him to be that. I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna tell me he's gonna be like all-star, you know, level triple-double threat type of guy, I'm like, okay, then I expect that. I don't need him to be Luka level, LeBron level type of superstar. I'll be very happy if he just becomes a solid starter, which he's been that, obviously, and more since All-Star break. But yeah, it also does confuse me. He gets type of fans where they aren't even Bulls fans, they're just Giddey fans. I think it's also something to do with Australia, but you know, support your guy, I guess. I agree with you though, Viper Strike. I don't think he should be getting that sort of pressure, but you know, it's games like tonight. It's like that's where all the Glazers come out and be like, "See, he's the next MVP candidate." And I'm like, okay, you know, I don't know if we go there, but sure. Think of it as a battery thing, just timeline potential versus what you get to build in cheap in draft pick you might get. I don't think you get anything special for Kevin Huerter, but again, the money's the big thing for me. I think he has those Glazers because he pulls the Australian videos, so they rep the guys hard, yeah. The Australians, I give him a lot of credit. I mean, Charles is one of them, but it's just like they stick with their guys. Like they really are like, yeah, you're our guy. We're gonna defend you till we die. So I give him a lot of credit for that. Because I think we get too carried away with wanting trades. Last year we were desperate for a guy to play the role of three-point shooter. Would have loved to have him. I don't know if it would have. I mean, I guess you could argue that, but I think moving forward again, Tyler. So Tyler, like the thing that what you're saying right now, and I don't know how if I'm behind stuff. Yeah, I'm definitely behind here, but like what you just said there is for you right now. What I'm looking at for you, Tyler, you're thinking in I want to win now mode, right? Like, you're thinking of roster construction, you're thinking of, like, okay, like, how do these guys fit together? What does this team specifically need, right? Like, for someone like Viper Strike, for someone like me, I'm always just thinking, like, rebuild mode. Like, I'm always just like, okay, how can we get more talent on the roster? How can we get more cheaper contracts? Like, that's just the way that we're just, right now, we're in two different modes, right? Like, you're thinking, okay, I want to make sure we have enough three-point shooting. I want to make sure we have enough wings on the roster, like, etc. But for me, I'm just like, I don't really care necessarily about the roster construction. Then, yes, three-point shooting is always important, but, like, I think that if I could get rid of his contract, that's more beneficial for us moving forward than, you know, keeping his contract on the books for this season and then potentially losing Trey Jones because of it. So that's just the way I always look at it. It's just kind of what we're always in. For you, Tyler, I know you've always been like, we want to, like, you know, build with these guys and move forward. For obviously, again, like me, I'm like, what's next? Like, what's the next move to help the rebuild, right? That's the only thing that's going on right now, and I don't blame you. I'm just pointing it out, right? Kevin's lower trade priority to me anyway. Vooch is a peak please trade, and people hope it just goes away slower until it gets better. Yeah. I mean, Harris is on expiring next season. He's only staying if he wants to resign for trade. They were trying to win. But I'm pointing out though, like, you might not be able to resign Trey Jones because of Kevin Huerter's, like, contract or like Zach Collins' contract. So like if you had to choose between the two of them, like if I were to choose between Trey Jones on a cheaper contract or Kevin Huerter being here, I would choose Trey Jones. Okay, like I'm just pointing that out. If like it could come down to that, if Giddey gets his big bag that everyone's saying he's going to get, like it could come down to that. Also, then again, you're not going to be able to use the non-taxpayer mid-level exception if you keep Huerter and you try to re-sign Trey Jones. So, just pointing it out, right? Whether the Bulls need that trade to happen, I mean, yeah, get Vooch off the roster, please. Probably not going to happen, though. Montes was 16-6-2 over his last 10. Hate the pile on Pat, but we've been begging for those numbers for him all for years. Oh, yep, we definitely have. Well, we have been consistently begging Pat to do something, not even get 16 points. Just get to 14 points, give me 6 rebounds, and give me a steal and a block. And I'd be okay, and he can't even do that. Do I being consistently up by double digits more than controlling the game? That sounds dominant. In today's game, Tyler, if you think you're saying that if you're up by consistently 10 points in today's game, you're dominating in today's game where the 3-point shot is the most prevalent it has ever been in the history of the NBA. I completely disagree with you on that. If you're up by double digits, like I'm talking about 10 points, okay? We're not talking about like 15, 20. We're talking about 10 points, okay? Like if you're up by 10 points, you think that you're controlling the game? This is a league where you have 3-point shots going up left and right. Teams can go on 9-0 runs in half a second or half a minute. Like this is it. I don't think you're controlling the game by any means if you're up by 10. Now, if you're up by 20 plus, then yes, you're controlling the game. 15 plus, sure, you're controlling the game. But in this league where the 3-point shot is the most prevalent it has ever been, I don't think being up by 10 is like, yeah, you're controlling the game. Like, no, I will completely disagree with that. We get 30 or less. It'd be cool with depending on the years and team friendly. I mean, again, I would hope that's the case, but like, I mean, Tyler, you're the one of the people saying he's gonna get the bag. Other people saying he's gonna get the bag, so we'll see, right? Just again, just pointing it out. If he gets the bag, Trey Jones might not be back. Just pointing it out. Manovic really had a 20-point near triple-double, quiet but effective. Oh, this was definitely one of Vooch's better games post All-Star break. I think Vooch played harder than usual today, especially on defense. I think it's said he has the second most double-doubles in Bulls history. Yeah, he passed Scottie Pippen for the second most double-doubles, so yeah, he's officially second most. Which is crazy, because he hasn't been here that long, but, you know, double-double machine, as everyone likes to say, which is just, like, I don't think that's that special, but sure. Packager Kevin Huerter and P-Will for MPJ. Money won't be getting off, though. Would not do it personally. Don't think that's a good decision. If you put up Huerter's stats and swap them with P-Will, I feel like we would be ecstatic to have him even with that $18 million per year contract. Well, yeah, it's also because P-Will is younger. Like, if Patrick Williams is putting up Kevin Huerter numbers, I'd be ecstatic because he's a younger forward that is putting up those numbers, right? Yes, you'd be ecstatic. But it's because Huerter's on an expiring contract and is older and is making this much money. It's like that's the whole problem with it. And it's also because Patrick Williams is making this like similar money. Like this wouldn't be a problem if P-Will wasn't on the roster. Like if Patrick Williams didn't have the $18 million, then like we're probably not talking about this right now. But you gave Patrick Williams that money. He's stuck here forever. So you have to maybe make a different sacrifice here. Playing level competition. Consistently beating the teams supposed to be had been a huge problem for the previous iteration of the team, to be fair. No, I agree, but they also didn't do that earlier in the season, so yeah. I think Dyson is my pick for most improved, though Peyton Pritchard should be considered to if he's a 6-man. That is also a good call. I think I give it to Dyson, though. If Draymond wins defensive player, it should be assigned to everyone that every player needs a podcast. I mean, yeah, Draymond's podcast, yeah, he says some crazy things, but I appreciate it. Yeah, go get a podcast. Very good players making expected career progression being front runners is why I say most improved player is broken. No, I agree. I definitely think most improved player is broken right now. Does taking Vucevic 20 million off the books out with the Giddey contract? Yeah, it would. The problem is I have very much less faith in you trading Vucevic than you trading Kevin Huerter. Like, if I had to make a guess of who I would, if you could trade one, and I had to make a guess of who's going to get traded, it would be, I think Kevin Huerter is going to get traded. The odds of you trading Vucevic, I just think are extremely low. I don't think anyone wants him, but who knows? First round pick who is a feature of a team already on high stats isn't really a big improvement compared to the second round pick who shot up or someone who got no minutes earning a big start, etc. No, I completely agree. Yeah, like it is definitely a broken award right now. When Ja Morant won it, it made no sense. Desmond Bane should have won it, which Ja gave the award to Desmond Bane, but it is definitely a broken award at this point. Here's what I will say though, like, if let's say like there is a top overall pick and like they have like a pretty bad rough like, you know, year before or something like that, and they suddenly like they spike like a 15 point per game spike or something like that, like sure, you give it to them then. But for knowing what Cade has already did last year, and you know Mobley in a similar sense is like kind of put up like he's definitely improved this year. Like I'm not saying he hasn't, but it's just like we've seen kind of similar numbers in a sense. Anyway, his numbers are much better than last year, but it's like he's a 4th overall pick or 3rd, don't remember. And like he's just kind of improving on what we know. Like it just is like, yeah. So Dyson Daniels for sure should be winning most improved. We'll see. I feel like this team never wants to use those exceptions you're talking about, but also still probably don't understand the money side of it. Tyler, what prime example? The Bulls signed Jalen Smith with the non-taxpayer mid-level exception. So, if your argument is that the Bulls don't use the exceptions that I'm talking about, well, the Bulls signed Jalen Smith with the non-taxpayer mid-level exception last season. So again, non-taxpayer mid-level exception. They used that on Jalen Smith last offseason. So if I'm already here telling you that you're wrong, unfortunately. Also, Alex Caruso was on the non-taxpayer mid-level exception. So again, you're wrong, unfortunately. Andre Drummond, non-taxpayer mid-level exception. Again, you're wrong. So it's just, this is a very common use. I'm not just, saying it just to say things. I'm showing you that many teams use it, and it's a very nice thing to use. What if I had a player like Lu Dort, Jokic, or Giannis, and a most improved player talks earlier years with their gems from where they were to became? Oh, I agree. Yeah, Giannis won it. Lu Dort, I don't know if he deserved over Dyson Daniels, but I definitely think he should get some recognition. Obviously, Jokic and Giannis, yeah, for what they came from, for sure. Hey, the sense of role they were to give out. No, I mean it's bad specifically for most improved. I mean MVP is gonna be crazy this year. I know a lot of people are debating back and forth on it. If I had to vote, Shea's getting my vote, but I know a lot of people are gonna be like, "How dare you? Jokic is better." I don't really care about who's better. I just care about who I think has played the best this year. And yes, you could think that Jokic is a better player, but like it's who's played the best this season. And I'm personally just giving it to Shea, but I know a lot of people are going to debate that. There should be co-MVP this year. It's never going to happen, though, so it's going to be rough when one of them doesn't get it. It's probably going to be Shea getting it because of the record, which is fine. Jokic is averaging triple-double and is going to be top 3 in all major statistical categories for the first time ever in history. So there's that, but yeah, it's going to be tough when someone doesn't get it. At the end of the day, there's only one award. Well, doesn't play more than 35 games a year. Well, if anything, he shouldn't be here. Well, then, yeah, let's trade him too. But, Tyler, the thing is, it's just that, like, I've heard so many people say we don't want to trade Lonzo. Like, I'm like, okay, well then, I want to trade him. So that would help a lot. You always have to bring me back to the contracts and stuff because I just don't understand it well enough. Yeah, I'm always willing to explain it, but I want to just kind of, I'll try to simplify it again for you if you have any questions about it. But Yeah, I'm more than willing to talk about it. But if you're wondering why I want to trade certain guys, Tyler, like, I want you to understand that it's not just me blowing smoke. It's not just me just kind of making stuff up. It's like me looking at actual numbers and like doing calculations and like thinking to myself, like, okay, like if this happens, then this happens. Like, that's the way I always think. I'm not just like talking about it as if like, okay, well, I think that we should just do this because I think it's a good idea. No, like I'm talking about it with like actual statistics. Like, here's the contracts, here's the math. Like, this is why I'm telling you, like, this is important. I'm not just like saying it just because like I just want to say it, like, or I hate one player or something. Like, no, I'm like legitimately telling you, like, listen, bro, like this is why I think that we should be making this decision. One game to be Ricky Rubio with rebounding that's usable. He has the potential to exceed, but that's my baseline mark. I would hope he's a little bit better than that, but I agree. All of you named are exactly what I'm worried. Law, DT Phillips are wings that play energy defense, but the three ball isn't there yet. Lonzo shoots well if he's on the court. Pupil is blah. Well, I agree with you, but again, this is what I talked about earlier. It's that you're on the whole, I want to see this team improve, and what are we missing? What do we need to add? For me, I don't really care about that. I'm just like, I just want more young talent on the roster. So, to me, I'm not too concerned about that personally. They get started on popular in Australia. Was having a comment recently, none of them liked him. Oddly, lots here like LaMelo Ball. Did LaMelo? No, he went to Lithuania. So yeah, honestly, I don't know. But see, defensive players are popular here, and then players with flashy plays and passes for more casual of a certain kind. Ben Simmons is a player Australians cling to more than maybe should. Probably his defensive peak and higher potential from longer, from longer ago. Yeah, it's actually crazy. Yeah. Yeah, I think Australians need to get away from Ben Simmons, like, from their overall, like, oh no, he's like, he should be the next LeBron or whatever. But you know, again, your ride or dies. I appreciate that. Talking about I'm thinking about not win now, more like 2 or 3 years from now. Again, though, consider all opinions come from a place where I don't get numbers aspect. So then, why is it then so important to keep Kevin Huerter now then, if you're so worried about 2 to 3 years down the road? Like, that's my whole question. Because to me, like, if you're more worried about 2 to 3 years down the road, then like whoever's on this team moving forward, it should be just mostly young players, and then any of the vets, like, they don't really matter. Like, you can go and get those sort of vets later, and ideally on cheaper deals. But that's kind of the reason why I'm like, if your priority is to worry about 2 to 3 years down the road, then if Kevin Huerter prevents you from re-signing Trey Jones for 2 to 3 years down the road, then I would personally trade Kevin Huerter. That's just the way I look at it. Same thing with Lonzo. Like, if I could trade Lonzo now and get, you know, something in return for him that's valuable, I'm doing it now, because I don't care about next season. Like, I care about 2 to 3 years down the road. So why does Kevin Huerter matter so much about being on this team now then? Yeah, it's not because of how prevalent threes are. That's factoring runs and threes and whatnot. I personally just gonna disagree with that, because it's like, I feel like if you're at 10, if you're at a 10-point lead, 1 3 cuts it to 7. Like, do you think a 7-point lead is a controlling overall type of game? I would disagree. But again, that's just our different definitions of what's a controlling lead. Like, 10-point lead back in the 90s, I would say is controlling. 10-point lead in today's era, I feel like is nothing. Like, I feel like you should still be on the gas pedal if you have only a 10-point lead. Like, I don't feel like you're in control by any means. Hell, like, we just saw what the Bulls did to the Lakers. Like, the Lakers had an 8-point lead with just a minute left to go, and the Bulls came back. Like, it's just, I feel like 10-point leads are not really controlling anything at this point. Like, again, Pippen could play defense like Vooch, so maybe sure Vooch is close to the Pippen offense, but way lower D. It's more so just the fact that I think Vooch is inefficient, but yeah, sure. I don't want him to get the bag. I think the front office will give it to him. Look what they gave to Pat for being way less impactful. No, I agree with you, Tyler. I'm like, hopefully they learn from their mistakes, and then they don't give Giddey the bag. But if he does end up getting the bag, whether it's from the dumbasses from the front office or Giddey gets a big contract offer, then I'm just kind of like, hey, here's the money situation. There was like 2 years ago someone who I would contend this year is Def Daniels for me, then Payne, maybe a few others I would rank decent over the names there. Okay, yeah, no, I think I had like a name earlier, but I just kind of forgot about it. I'm not really sure who else I would have. I need a day where you just break down contracts and stuff. Yeah, I'm more than willing to do it. I know that in the videos it's like a crash course, so I know it's not exactly great to do the videos, but yeah, I mean, I'll probably do a stream throughout the like in the middle of the off season, and we can just like look at this only, and we can go in full out depth. It's again, no, I won't lie, Tyler. Like I will say it's not easy to keep up. Like it's kind of hard to kind of like understand what is what. So like even let's say if I take a whole day to describe it to you and you still don't understand it, like don't feel bad. A lot of people try to look at this and take a lot of time to look at it and they still never understand it. But you know, fortunately or unfortunately for me, I have looked at this for probably like 8 years now. So I am honestly just, this is what I kind of just live and breathe. So yeah, I don't blame you if you don't fully understand all this, even if I do explain it to you. I am biased, but as I bet Dyson's my main opinion preseason winning. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, honestly, it was really good bets. You did a good job. Actually, I paid third on my second RJ Barrett when Duncan talked about it too. Oh, yeah. Honestly, I'm sorry about that. Don't listen to me about any sort of betting advice. Don't ever think about that. I'm a horrible person to listen to if you want betting advice. That is the last thing I should ever give out to anybody. Yeah, I thought you didn't know what you weren't talking about. I wouldn't even be in the streams. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, bro, it's a lot of info. And I understand that even when I tweet about it, like a lot of people are just like, what? But yeah, I'm more than willing to explain it. So just like I'll probably have to explain the off season because of just how the timing is. Because a lot of people right now are just they're more worried about what's happening now and like, you know, making the playing games and everything. So we'll probably talk about the off season before the Giddey contract actually comes to light, and yeah, we'll move on from there. And I'll be more than willing to talk about it. Patty Mills is easily the basketball pinup for Australians, but he is KD FIBA level almost somehow. Yeah, that's actually hilarious. But makes sense. I mean, FIBA Patty is insane. That guy's a legend. Whenever he's playing FIBA rules with the FIBA basketball, that dude is insane. So yeah, makes sense. Now I checked my list. I had Giddey fourth round, most improved. Missed that by half a season. Oh yeah. I would definitely think next season would be a better season to bet on, but who knows, right? Ooh, sorry, I just want to. I just really quickly want to check this box. Okay, yeah, the Kings are kind of struggling. Let's see. Not an amazing Levine game, but he has 8 assists and 4 turnovers, so that's not amazing. And Zach's been on a tear. I don't know if you guys have seen that recently. What is this, bro? Gee, dear Lord, this is why I'm glad DeRozan's gone. Holy hell, like God, Jesus, sorry DeRozan, you're gonna be a Hall of Famer, but God Almighty. People struggle a lot with its acceptance specifically. I don't blame you. It's a lot. I was trying to store the information you taught me about Crucial / Smith mid-level exception thing while actively engaging in conversations in the chat. My attention span isn't strong enough. I don't blame you at all, Tyler. Yeah, it's a lot of info. Or RJ was my pick, just was the time I was thinking about it, but wasn't the worst. Harder award to pick for sure. Oh, okay, yeah, got it. Okay, if you're still here, Tyler, let me just break down one thing for you, okay? So like if there's one thing to like break down like very quickly for you, all right? This is the mid-level exception. I think is the one thing you need to understand, all right? So if you're wondering how this works, okay? Every single team is given a mid-level exception, okay? Which is, if you're wondering what the mid-level exception is, mid-level exception money is money given to every single team to go ahead and spend. It does not it does not matter if you're over the salary cap already or if wherever you are in terms of salary cap space. You can go ahead and spend this basically anytime you want to. It is money given to you that does not require salary cap space that you're allowed to just go ahead and spend. Okay. Now, the more tricky thing to understand here is how much money are you given? Okay. Because the mid-level exception for every single team is different. Teams that are not in the tax, okay, hence the Chicago Bulls, okay, they are given the non-taxpayer mid-level exception, okay, which is the most amount that you can get in the mid-level exception. All right. So the Bulls for next season, okay, they are given pretty much according to the projected salary cap numbers. They'll be given $14 million to go ahead and spend in free agency on anybody. Okay. It is $14 million they can spend on one player, on multiple players. They can break it up. It doesn't matter. But it is $14 million that they can spend even if they have no salary cap space. Okay. So they can just go ahead and just sign them. So hence last offseason, okay, the Bulls last offseason had no salary cap space, but they still went ahead and signed Jalen Smith to a contract. And everyone's like, well, how? Like, we didn't have any salary cap space, right? But they went ahead and signed Jalen Smith with the non-taxpayer mid-level exception money, which is, I think last year it was about $12.4 million. I don't exactly remember the exact number for it, but, either way, though, the Bulls had the non-taxpayer mid-level exception to spend. So they went ahead and signed Jalen Smith to a 3-year non-taxpayer mid-level exception contract, which is coming out at $8 million or $8.5 million to start in the first season. Okay. So, again, this is just what you need to look at. In terms of what we're looking at in terms of non-taxpayer mid-level exceptions, okay? Don't I when the season ends, will you do draft prospect videos? Potentially. We'll see. Okay, you're caught up now. I am, yeah. Was you get a chance to feel a better idea what the pick Bulls have on? I will definitely take the time to do film stuff, so yeah. So it's a free contract, essentially. It's free money to spend, essentially. Yes. So even if you are past the salary cap, you still get this money no matter what. Okay, like everyone thinks that you can only spend money if you have salary cap space, which to an extent, like, yes, that is true. But in this league, right, the salary cap is a soft cap. It's not a hard cap like football, right? So you can spend past the salary cap, which the Bulls and basically every single NBA team does. They are over the salary cap, right? So if you are over the salary cap, but you do not go into the luxury tax, which the Bulls have never been, right, then you will be given this money to go ahead and just spend. You can spend it on multiple players, on just one player, and you can give out however many years you want on the deal. It doesn't matter what you want. Like, it could be up to 4 years, excuse me. But it is just money for you to just go ahead and spend. However, the one thing to keep in mind is this. If you do go ahead and spend the non-taxpayer mid-level exception, okay, then you will be hard capped at what we call the first apron. So if you're wondering for the Bulls, if we're talking about for the Bulls for this specific season, okay, because they spent more than half of the non-taxpayer mid-level exception on Jalen Smith this last offseason, if you're not aware, the Bulls are hard capped. Okay. Now, does that mean the Bulls can't spend any more money? Like, if they want to go sign someone to like a 10-day contract right now, they can't? No, that's not the case. They are hard capped though at what we call the first apron. Okay. And with the apron rules, I hope that you are aware of this, but there's the first apron, there's the second apron, right? But if you're worried just about the non-taxpayer mid-level exception, you're just worried about the first apron, okay? So right now for the Bulls, their current overall allocations for the salaries this year is at $168 million. So that's with the inclusion of waiving Torrey Craig, waiving Chris Duarte, and then, you know, doing all the trades and everything like that. As you can see, the dead money also counts. The total money the Bulls have spent this season is $168 million, okay? But because they spent more than half of the non-taxpayer mid-level exception on Jalen Smith, okay, they are now then hard capped here at the first apron. So Therefore, if the Bulls decide to go into the luxury tax, which again we're not even worried about that, but if they decide to go into that, which the luxury tax line is at $170 million, but if the Bulls decide to go into the luxury tax line, then they cannot spend more than the first apron because they hard cap themselves with spending the non-taxpayer mid-level exception. Okay, so yes, it's free money to spend, but it does come with a cost. So if you're wondering, it's just like, oh, it's just a free contract. Like, oh my God, it's great. This is the drawback, is that, hey, you're then hard capped at the first apron. Now, if you didn't understand a single word of what I just said, okay, then don't worry about it at all, because the Bulls are never going to meet a luxury tax. So, like, this genuinely does not matter to them. If you want to know a hard cap for the Bulls, it is the luxury tax line. So think of it that way, which again, it's not the actual hard cap, but for the Bulls specifically under Jerry Reinsdorf, it's basically the hard cap, because Jerry Reinsdorf's a stupid idiot and he won't spend in the luxury tax. So if you're not understanding all of this, then don't worry about it. Just think, okay, the Bulls just can't spend past the luxury tax. Okay. Hence, then when we go to here. Okay. So as you can see here, I have it. This is like projected salaries for the Bulls for next season. I've included their first round pick, and then I've also included their second round pick projections. Their total money adds up to being $184 million. Okay. The salary cap for next season is going to go up by about 14 million. So as you can see here, it jumps from 140 million to 154 million. Okay, so we're looking at these numbers right now, if you're wondering. But then the luxury tax for this year, I rounded up for this year, but the luxury tax jumps up to $187 million, or 188. Let's just say 188. Okay. But as you can see here, right, the Bulls have spent, with these projected numbers, with Giddey getting $30 million, Trey Jones getting 12, the Bulls has spent up to $184 million already. Therefore, if you're wondering how much money they have below the luxury tax, it's already calculated for you here, but you see the correlation, right? You see that, okay, the luxury tax line is $188 million, the Bulls have already spent $184, okay? Therefore, you only have this much money to spend, which would, if you're wondering, if the Bulls wanted to go ahead and sign someone like Precious Achiuwa to the non-taxpayer mid-level exception, any money that they use to spend on this on him counts against this number. So if the Bulls, let's say they sign Precious Achiuwa to an $8 million contract, okay, so you know, I'll just randomly, really quickly here, I'll just take out Taylor Horn, or I'll just add this to Taylor Horn Tucker's salary here, but imagine this was Precious Achiuwa instead here, right? If they wanted to go, oh, sorry, it's 80. If you wanted to go ahead and sign into an $8 million contract, well, then you see here, the Bulls are now all of a sudden, they're past the luxury tax. They're into the luxury tax, right? So, yes, you can go ahead and sign Precious Achiuwa with this money, but it takes you into the luxury tax, okay? Which is the problem of why I'm saying that if you want to spend this money, okay, hence get a guy like Jalen Smith, or what we got in Alex Caruso, right? You need to have that money below the luxury tax, because any money you spend with the non-taxpayer mid-level exception, it counts against the luxury tax. That's the problem. That's why when I look at all this stuff, I'm calculating these numbers, I'm looking at how much money the Bulls have below the luxury tax line, and it's like, yikes. Knowing the Bulls will never go below the luxury tax, then if I want to re-sign some guys or bring in a new guy, then I need to get rid of some of these other guys, right? And unfortunately, Collins, Williams, and Herter, they're all on some pretty hefty deals for what the production does. So I'm like, hey, maybe we look to move some of these guys to get some of the money off the books. Therefore, right, if I just get rid of Kevin Herter's contract for a second, then all of a sudden you see here, hey, we have money now on the luxury tax again. So that's just why. Like, that's the reason why when I talk about this stuff, it's like, hey, this is important to look at. Sorry, that's the crash course. So any questions? Well, next time camera actually bowl, I would not like that personally on softball. Okay, dude, trade exceptions working the same way for spending over the cap. So the Bulls, yes. So the Bulls, if you're wondering, they have a bunch of trade exceptions. Where is it? I always forget where it's listed here on Spot Track. I always hate this part. Fudge. Where is it? Okay, hold on. Is it over? It might be under overview. Okay, so if you're wondering how this worked, okay, here we go. So the Bulls in the whole Zach LaVine trade, they used the DeMar DeRozan trade exception to take back Kevin Huerter. Therefore, then it opened up a trade exception in the Zach LaVine trade. So if you're wondering, the Bulls have a trade exception from the LaVine trade for about $17 million. Okay, now what this means, so this does not mean that the Bulls can just sign anybody with $17 million, okay? This is not something that the Bulls are going to be doing. That's not part of the exception. But what this does allow the Bulls to do is that if they take on a contract that is $17 million or less, they, in theory, do not have to send any money out, okay? Because they can just absorb that contract via the trade exception. So I don't know. Let's just go to like the Grizzlies or somebody, because I think they might have to make some moves. But like, if for example, like if let's say the Bulls wanted to go get Brandon Clark, right? The Bulls, in theory, they could trade for Brandon Clark and not have to send any money out in the trade to match the contract. They can just take his $12.5 million back and not have to send any contracts out to match the contracts, okay? Because obviously trade rules, you have to match contracts, right? But if you have a trade exception, then you're just allowed to take that money back. However, to answer AV Breeze's question, this $12.5 million in theory, right, it would still count against the Bulls salary cap or total salary numbers. So yes, you can make that trade, but it's as if you're just adding $12.5 million to the books. So it still counts against the luxury tax, still counts against the salary cap. So it's not like, oh, the money just goes into the void or anything like that. It's just that it still counts, but it just allows you, the trade exception just allows you to make that trade without having to send any money out. That's the whole point of the trade exception. Walter not Australian, just leading player on the winning team NCAA. That is 3 legit prospects. Gotcha. Free contract with the cost. Got it. Size sacrifice, by the way, I think I understand. Okay, good. Let's see if Valor has anything good too from their offers. So Julian probably is cut for the 2nd round draft pick potentially next season roster spot. No. I don't think they're gonna potentially. I don't think they could be cutting Julian Phillips. I think if they're gonna choose between anybody, it's gonna be you have to pick one of the centers. Like, it unfortunately might be Jalen Smith just because he's on the cheapest deal and is the most tradable contract. I also think that they might genuinely consider waiving Javon Carter because he's at this point he's on the last year of his contract. And so if you can't find a trade partner for him, then it just opens up a roster spot at that point. And then we'll see about Dalen Terry and Julian Phillips then. Reminder, though, that Taylor Horton-Tucker is probably not going to be back. So, like, that's one guy off the team. And then you have to for the other draft pick, you would have to make a decision. But I think personally, because of how cheap Julian Phillips is, I think he stays around. I think that they're going to look to move one of the centers first. And then if they can't, then they probably waive Javon Carter and just eat the money, which is fine. Honestly, like, stretching away with Javon Carter is also not the worst thing in the world. Sorry, hold on, quick calculator. So let's just say 6.8 million. Okay, 6.8. Yeah, it'd be divided by 3. So, I mean, you could waive Javon Carter and open up a little bit more cap space by stretching and waiving him. So again, stretching and waiving, it's you multiply the years left on a deal by 2, and then you add another year. So Javon Carter will be, if you stretch and waive him, he'd be waived for 3. His money would be on the books for 3 years, but it'd be for $2.26 million per year. It would just be dead money on the books for $2.26 million per year. So honestly, I think that's kind of where the Bulls might lean, which is fine. I wouldn't be upset at that. They got most of that thanks to Crush and Patience. Not anytime, man. Like, if again, I don't know if you have Twitter or anything, but if you're ever wondering, like, hey, does this work? Let me know. Like, I'm always willing to talk about any sort of trade, any sort of free agent signing, like anything like that. I'm always willing to talk about it. I've also, like, if you guys want this sheet, like, I'm willing to send this to you guys as well, because then, like, you can just go ahead and just, like, plug in your own numbers and see, like, hey, does this contract work? Where does it lead then to the Bulls in terms of their luxury tax or salary cap space, right? Like, if you want that sort of stuff, like, let me know. I'm more than willing to share this sort of stuff. I just know that a lot of people don't maybe want this in their, like, Google Drive or something like that. So, yeah, I mean, just, again, let me know. I'm more than willing to just kind of do this on the stream for you guys, or if you want this actual sheet for you, like, let me know. I'm more than willing to share it. Did you see that some of the odds makers said the Bulls is a favorite landing spot for Jokic in a trade law? Whatever. Would you have a preference between him and Giannis assuming the same cost? If I had to choose between the two, I think I would personally want Giannis, but I hope Bulls fans understand, if you're trading for Jokic, you're trading everything. That includes Buzelis, like, that includes Giddey, like, you're trading everybody. You're not gonna be able to make that trade and keep someone that you want to keep around. Like, I know a lot of Bulls fans think, oh, we can trade for Nikola Jokic and just give all our draft picks away, and then we can keep Buzelis still. I'm like, no. You're trading for Nikola Jokic, you're trading all your draft picks, you're trading Matas Buzelis, you're most likely trading Josh Giddey as well, and you'll be stuck with Nikola Jokic and Patrick Williams. Hence why the Bulls are not going to go and do this. I understand why the odds makers had that. It's just kind of, I don't understand the logic. Why wouldn't you like that? The Cam Reddish and Bull idea. I think the Bulls could use their money in better spots. I think Cam Reddish has been pretty disappointing in his career, and I think Bull, while he is intriguing, I don't really have much faith in him staying healthy, and I don't really know what he is. He's intriguing for sure. So I guess it would matter how much, like, for Bull, I'm definitely more intrigued by him than Cam Reddish. So, like, if I had to choose between the two of them, like, I would pick Bull. But I would have to, like, it would have to be, like, a pretty cheap deal, because I wouldn't want to spend any sort of guaranteed money on him when I can go and spend some guaranteed money on some, like, a better overall option, at least in my opinion. But, I mean, hey, if we can sign for, like, a minimum, sure. Like, yeah, I'll gladly take him. I'm so pessimistic. I just figured if Bulls had to eat a contract, they would take the cheapest option. You might be right, honestly, but they didn't do that with the Chris Duarte deal, because Chris Duarte was making more money than some other guys. So, like, yeah, in theory, they probably should. I just think that because it's cheapest and because Phillips' contract is still on the books for another year, I don't think they waive him. I think they'll waive Javon Carter instead. Assuming, again, Javon Carter picks up this player option, which I don't know if he will, which he should, all things considered, but we'll see what happens. Another reason why AK's messed things up, because, like, Javon Carter having a player option is ridiculous. Like, he should not have a player option on this deal. You watch a film prospect for film super prospects, we'll still check that how dude out. Yeah. I'll be letting you guys know when I want to get your recommendations for who to kind of scout. So I do appreciate you, Charles, kind of, you know, saying some guys. Like, I'll keep that in mind. But yeah, I'll be doing my time when I'm gonna look at a bunch of stuff is gonna have to come, like, whenever the Bulls are eliminated, whether it's in the play-in or the playoffs. But yeah, I'll appreciate that when the time comes, and then I'll be giving you my updates. And we'll talk in some sort of fashion, whether it's just like come on stream and we'll talk about it, or we'll find a different way to talk about things. What's going on, Zay? Over. How do we end up getting a player option? How did he end up getting a player option? Still don't get it. It's AK's way of trying to win a bargaining, or it's his bargaining method. Like, for Javon Carter, it might have been like, hey, I want, like, let's say, for example, I want $7 million per season, over 3 years guaranteed, or I'll take a little bit cheaper contract, but I want the player option at the end. So it's AK's way of just trying to get up for less money, but it really hinders the Bulls' ability to do any sort of moves. So the fact that he got a player option is ridiculous. And the fact that Patrick Williams got a player option is also stupid. This is where AK has really lost a bunch of the negotiations. It's just so bad from him. It's unacceptable. Like, you're right, that someone like Javon Carter should not be getting a player option. Like, he just shouldn't. I think we all can agree with that. I mean, hell, even Torrey Craig for this year, he got the player option, right? And Torrey Craig probably took the minimum contract because of the player option. If Torrey Craig was like, if they went to Torrey Craig and was like, hey, we want to sign you to the minimum, he's like, I probably want a little bit more money for just a 1-year deal. But for the Bulls, they're like, okay, well, we'll give you the minimum and then we'll give you a player option for next year, right? That's why he gets the player option, right? So it's like you can get Torrey Craig for the minimum for that year, but then you have the player option for next year for him, which is kind of the cost for it, which is just like, that's not the way I would personally do business, but sure. AK is stupid. Yeah, I hope that makes sense, Tyler. Yeah. Like, it's just AK's way of trying to bargain with these guys and try to get them for just a little bit cheaper. I personally don't think that it would matter too much, but yeah, I personally would want the flexibility to just kind of move it whenever I wanted to. But AK has his ways. He thinks that getting him for just a little bit cheaper and then you sacrifice the player option is better, but sure. Booth got fired for not maximizing Jokic. Meanwhile, Nico still has a job. Luka tearing up at Shreve was so sad. Oh my god, bro. Luka tearing up was so sad. I tweeted out that I hope that Luka was going to absolutely destroy the Mavericks after seeing him tear up, and he absolutely destroyed the Mavericks tonight with the 45-point performance. Absolute masterclass in the first half with 31 points. I think it was a 9 of 13 from the field. Yeah, that was very, very sad to watch. I'm with y'all. I genuinely cannot believe that that Luka got traded and that we were witnessing what we witnessed. Why did this not work? Hold on, sorry. But yeah, I mean, bro, seeing Luka tear up like that, it was just like, God. Like, he fully expected to be in Dallas his entire career. He led them to the finals. He did so many things, and then he just randomly gets traded, and then I'm just like, oh my god, bro. The emotions must have been running so high when the game started. He missed a couple of shots early on that I'm like, oh, I'm used to seeing him hit that, and that he just went ballistic after it. He got into a rhythm, bro. It was just insane to just witness, just to see him be like, yep, you guys are gonna absolutely just take it tonight from me, and he destroyed them. Very happy to see that. I know a lot of people hate the Lakers, so it's just like, I know a lot of people don't want to see the Lakers succeed or anything like that. I am just still very much, I'm still very much just like, holy hell, Nico Harrison is such an idiot that I want to see this blow up in his face so bad. That's just my overall just agenda that I want to see happen, because I cannot believe Nico Harrison just committed that travesty. And just like, if there's one man you don't want to piss off in the NBA, it is Luka Doncic. There's one guy that has the supreme confidence over everybody, and he could be in a very, kind of unfortunate situation and, like, down in the series, and it's just like, bro, I'm telling you, you do not want that guy to get upset. And you pissed off this guy to not even just get him angry, but to make him sad. Like, I cannot believe what Nico Harrison did, and every single Fire Nico chant was deserved tonight. I thought Nico wasn't going to be there. I saw some reports that he wouldn't be there tonight, but he was there. I was calling him a coward, though, when I saw the initial reports he wasn't going to be there. But man, oh man. Luka absolutely gave him the business tonight, and I think he's going to continue to do that every single game here and now against the Mavs. So I hope that's going to continue. Maybe I hope Giddey is cheap to be able to bid at least a little on some interesting players. I sent to your Hayes. Yeah, that's exactly the reason why I went Giddey on a cheaper deal. So again, $25 million this year, perfect. Get him on $25 million this season. That's that. Like the $5 million is actually like a huge difference between the $5 million between the $30 million and 25 is like genuinely huge. Getting Giddey on like $5 million less would be fantastic. We got the JT or refereeing crew from the ejection game last night. Glad he didn't get the main character syndrome again. Bro, I genuinely hate the officials. I know that there's gonna be all this talk about. I made some tweets about it as well, but it's just like, man, like I hate the officials, bro. Everything the officials do is so stupid. They need to be punished in some sort of fashion. I just don't know how it's gonna work out. The union is preventing a lot of things. NBA head coaches don't make sense so often. So Doc Rivers still gets his good jobs. I mean, bro, yeah. Welcome to politics in the NBA. I stopped watching the Mavs as I was a fan. That's so crazy. Oh, I would too. Yeah. I'm gladly not a Mavericks fan, and I gladly can watch Luka Doncic go and destroy them. You keep Jackson Hayes away from my team. No, I agree with you on Jackson Hayes. I wouldn't want Jackson Hayes specifically, but like someone like him, I would like the Bulls to go and get, if they could. Two decent coaches fired. Yeah, I mean, the fact that Mike Malone got fired, I think is ridiculous. Calvin Booth getting fired is not that crazy because I do think Calvin Booth is like his decision making was pretty poor the last couple of years after the championship. So I'm not necessarily shocked at that, but to see Michael Malone get fired though is ridiculous. I won't lie. I just still stand by this whole like, did like Calvin Booth like want to fire Michael Malone and then like the ownership was just like, okay, you're out of here now too? Or was it that Calvin Booth went to the front office and was like, you know what, I want to fire Michael Malone before the playoffs, and then they just like, you know what, we'll just fire both of you instead. Like, I don't know what happened, but yeah, the fact that Jenkins and Malone both got fired is kind of crazy. Grizzlies fans will say that Jenkins getting fired was deserved. You know, it is what it is, but Michael Malone, I don't think deserved to get fired whatsoever. I mean, granted, Denver's winning right now, so it might end up working out somehow for them. But to me, Calvin Booth deserved the firing. He has not made good decisions since the championship. So I understand it's a hard job, but I mean, hey, that's why you're here. If you can't do a hard job and get the job done, then it's just like you get the can. So it is what it is. Favors also doesn't move me as a player at all. I mean, yeah, I'm more so against Jackson Hayes because I think he's a bad person and I don't really want him on the team at all. So, what's gonna be starting on the officials? Oh my god, bro, it's so bad. I'm so shocked no players have thrown the ball at a ref or something by now. I mean, bro, if I was a fan of, like, if I was a Lakers fan and I was at that Oklahoma City Thunder game and I saw Luka get ejected, I would have thrown a ball at the refs. Like, that was egregious, at least in my opinion. Now, I understand that there's the argument, like, listen, like, Luka talks to refs a lot, like, the ref thought he was talking to him. It kind of makes sense. For me, though, it's like, I don't care what the situation is. I just personally think if you're an official, that should not matter to you. You should be the better person and just be like, you know what, it doesn't matter. He's yelling at me across the court. Like, he's not in my face. He's not coming up and bumping me. If he is yelling at me, he's yelling at me across the court. Like, why does that matter? Like, just move on. You already gave him a tech earlier in the game. Like, you don't need to give him another tech. It's okay. I still stand by that. I think that if any time a technical foul is rescinded, that the official that gave out the technical foul to that player should pay the $1,000 fine instead, because I think that's a good middle ground to hold officials accountable, but it doesn't, like, you know, mess up with their job security or anything like that. It just is like, hey, go and do a good job. Like, that's all I'm asking for. I don't care about who you are, what you do. I just ask that you do a good job. Just be a good official. And if you can't, and we look at a technical foul that you gave out and we thought it was unnecessary, then you should be paying the $1,000 fine that the player would have instead had to pay if the technical foul went through. But bro, like it's not something that the union's gonna allow. So, we'll figure it out, I guess. All right, we have a bit of a game here for Nuggets Lakers. Levine got up to 22. He just hit a 3, so that's cool to see. He has 9 assists. It's a pretty big game in terms of seeding for both these teams, actually. So we'll see who actually wins this one. Ooh, steal here for the Kings. Levine has the ball, throws it out to Keon Ellis. Keon Ellis from the corner for 3. Ooh, knocks it down. 4-point game now for Denver and the Kings. So this is big. We'll see how this is gonna work out. Where do you think KD ends up? I don't know, bro. I really don't know where the hell KD's gonna go. Kevin Durant is he's making so much money, and the fact that Phoenix is gonna want like every pick back in the world, I just think that he might just be stuck there. But I'm really not sure. I would personally look at like Houston, I think makes the most sense overall. Levine just hit another 3. Houston, I think, makes the most sense overall, but even then, I just kind of feel like that's a sketchy idea. So, if I was Houston, I personally wouldn't do it. But like the only reason why I say Houston is just because like they don't have control over their draft picks either. So, go and just make the big swing. The only other team that I was kind of thinking about, just like they just don't have the draft capital, but it's just like if the Clippers could find a way to pull it off, like keep Kawhi, keep Harden, and you get Durant, like great. I just don't know if first and foremost is a money work, but secondly it's like they just don't have the assets. Like you have to. I mean, I'd have to look at next season here, but it's just like. I mean, yeah, like Norman Powell. Yeah, I'll just quickly do this just to get a good gauge of it. But it's hard, bro. Like I really don't see a world like how this works out for anybody. I mean, it'd be Norman Powell, it'd be Bogdanovich. You'd probably have to include Derrick Jones Jr. as well. And then I mean, is this even enough? I don't even think this is enough, right? I don't know the quick math, but okay, I guess this would be enough. Because if you'd be sending more money to the Clippers, and the Suns would be losing money. So, yeah, I mean, like it's just again the Clippers just don't have the Clippers just don't have the draft capital. So, I don't know. Give Phoenix back their pick in 2029, I guess. Like, there's one thing, but God Almighty, I don't see a world of this. So I honestly think Durant's stuck. I'll be very interested to see how that's gonna work out. Is Jalen Williams something that could be traded for? What's his contract looking like? I mean, the Bulls have to go with some serious draft capital if they want to do such a thing, but I mean, I guess theoretically it's possible. I just don't think the Thunder would be interested in it. I have to wait till next season, I think, because it's kind of hard to look at this year because J-Dub's not making that much money. So, wait, I forget? Did he get the contract? I don't remember. No, he did not. Okay, so next, oh god. Okay, no, that makes it even harder then, because the Bulls can barely send OKC any money then. The Bulls have to sacrifice a lot of picks. I don't think Oklahoma City is going to be willing to do it. They have Ja, who doesn't listen to anything. I don't know what Billy Donovan can do it. That's what they may land. I don't know Jackson personality background so fair. I prefer to avoid assholes, etc. if he has off-court stuff. I don't fully know the story with Jackson Hayes, but I think he physically assaulted his girlfriend So it's something along those lines. Yeah, physical assault, not good. Pretty much an asshole. Like, legit, I wouldn't be mad if one of the guys chucked the ball at the red. They do some stuff sometimes. I honestly, bro, I don't know how some players have kept their intentions together, because it's just, I won't lie, bro. I genuinely think that some players should just chuck a ball at the officials sometimes, but yeah, we can't have people getting injured. I'm not here to say someone should get injured. Logion, yeah, surely OKC wouldn't want to lose the locker room presence, etc. Him and Giddey are so close. They have a good flow. Dude takes charges and doesn't hesitate on open threes as a center. Oh, wait, are we talking about J-Dub? Or are we talking about Jalen Williams at the center? My bad. I didn't realize that. I thought we were talking about J-Dub. Like $1,000 idea. You think twice when calling a foul after waiting for the ball to bounce around the hoop to see if it goes in or not. Oh, I wasn't talking about that. I'm talking about if the official gives a technical foul to a player. If you're not aware, every single tech that the official gives out to a player, that's a $1,000 fine for the player. So every tech is a $1,000 fine. So, you know, when Draymond Green gets 17 techs a season, that's 17K down the drain for him. So like that's kind of the reason why it's like, I'm saying that if the league looks at that technical foul and decides to take it back, like how Luka Doncic had his technical foul rescinded from last night, then I think that the official that gave out the technical foul then the player had that rescinded, I think that official should pay the $1,000 fine, because in theory the official is basically saying that, or the official has the power to give out a $1,000 fine at any time he wants to, right? So I don't want him to have that sort of power without some sort of consequence. That's just the way I look at it. I'm just like, okay, if you give out a tech and then the league looks at it and it's just like, that's not a tech, like that we were going to take that back, we're going to rescind it, then I think that official should pay a $1,000 fine. Just so that it's just like, yeah, we're not going to have you just be able to just give out fines whenever they want to. Kobe reminded me a little bit of DeMar today. Cool for 3 quarters and hitting tough shots in the 4th. Yeah, I mean, DeMar's hit some tough shots, but Zach has hit some tough threes to keep him in it. It's a good game. 7-point game now. I think Zach needs to score here. He has the match against Christian Brown. Step back 3-point shot, short. Sabonis got the rebound. Zach on the drive again. Passed out to Trey Lyles. Passed it to Keon Ellis. Keon Ellis for 3. Miss. Rebound to Levine, and I think it looks like it's a loose ball foul on the Kings. That might be game at that point. Yeah, Kings had their shot. Rockets had to play without Adams and Alfie as rough versus Clippers at the moment. Jock is a solid backup hard-working center. That's not the need there. I went off court. That's what Smith at center for them small. Yeah, it is definitely rough for them, unfortunately. Yeah. OKC needs to consolidate some picks and I wonder what they do. I don't know, bro. I don't know what OKC's gonna do, honestly. Like, they might honestly be the team to go get Jokic. It wouldn't make any sense, but yeah. I imagine OKC might just offload a range of Mitchell, Flager, Jones, and Jiang. Dukas to free up spots to keep the cheap players to 1 feels enough of it to hit. I mean, yeah, like you're just gonna be getting rid of the guys that you think didn't really hit in the draft. I just don't know when they're just gonna cash in on the picks. Like, they just have so many picks laying around. It's just like, you gotta spend some at some point, right? I didn't mean to stress you out. Oh no, don't worry about it. Keep DB people the hell away, please. Oh yeah. Jay Wilson, okay. My bad. I thought we were talking about J-Dub, and I'm just like, I don't know. We're really gonna get J-Dub. Jalen Williams, yeah, I think that'd be someone I would personally like on this team. If we could get Jalen Williams, the center from Oklahoma City, I would like that. Yeah, Zach just missed a midi, so looks like this one's over. 9-point lead for Denver with a minute 20 left here, so looks like this one is officially over. I mean, Levine hit some tough shots, keep him in it. DeRozan's finally started to come around. Oh man, that's a 3-point shot by somebody. I don't know who hit it. Pickett. Yeah. All right, this game's over. 12-point lead. My main thing with the rest is consistency. Vooch gets the softest text I've ever seen while Draymond gets away with murder. Oh, I completely agree. Yeah, it needs to be better. What service is showing the Kings game, like ESPN? Oh, it's ESPN, sorry. Yeah, my bad. It's ESPN. OKC trades off so many deep roster players that find spots each season. Can name several from the last 2 seasons alone who gets minutes elsewhere. Yeah, it's crazy, bro. They just have so many ways just to keep stacking their roster for cheap, right? And they're like, yeah, we're good. All right. Okay, so this is the Jalen Williams that we were looking at. So reminder, so like this is J-Dub, okay? If you're wondering if you're wondering the spelling, this is J-Dub. This is the All-Star J-Dub. As you can see here, 21 points per game this season. He's having a phenomenal season. This is J-Dub. Jalen Williams is spelled with the Y, that's the center. So this is the Jalen Williams that we're talking about here. So hence why when you guys spelled it J-A-L-E-N, I was thinking of J-Dub. So Jalen Williams is spelled with the Y. He's been injured for a decent chunk of the season, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, I would like him around. The problem yet again though is just like you gotta get Vooch off the roster. You arguably would then have to also probably get Collins off the roster too, just so you have spots for someone like Jalen Williams to play. Unless you play him at the 4, which I guess you could do that, but yeah, it'd be hard. Laney Waters, Misic, Trey. Oh, bro. I mean, yeah, they just OKC just has guys just going elsewhere. I'm sad about Misic, man. I thought Misic would be a better player, and unfortunately, he hasn't really turned into anything special. But I thought he'd be like a starting caliber point guard, but it just hasn't done that. He obviously gets a lot of credit for the drafting and trades, but they need to cash it in eventually. Feels like they might make a big swing if they don't make the finals this year. Yeah, if they don't make the finals this year, they have to make a big swing because, I mean, hell, Shea's probably going to win MVP. Chet Holmgren's going to be in his 3rd year, technically, then, right? So, or 4th year? Honestly, I don't remember. God. It'll be his 4th year. Dear Lord, time flies. So, yeah, bro. I mean, I really think that they're going to have to cash in. Not saying they're going to, like, trade J-Dub or anything like that, but they're going to have to really cash in on their picks. Not sure what that means, but they'll have to really start kind of formulating the roster a little bit better. But I think, honestly, this is a really good year for them to get there. Jerry, Baisley, if you didn't come to mind. Oh, my God, bro. Baisley. I forgot about him. Yeah. I was talking about J-Dub. I like the idea too, so let it roll. Oh, okay, yeah. See, this is the problem when you have 2 Jalen Williams on a team. We don't know who the hell we're talking about. This was like the whole Dylan Brooks thing that happened with that whole trade that went down, and then it was canceled because there was the difference between having Marshawn or Dylan Brooks in the trade, which is hilarious. Apparently, Misic didn't want to play in the NBA after his first games, and after being traded, try to get off the roster ASAP. That's crazy. Yeah, I feel bad though, man. Like I think that he's a guy that I think is an NBA level talent. It just hasn't worked out for him, unfortunately. J-Dub, I can't see them trading. Yeah, they're not trading J-Dub. J-Dub is there for a while. They can move Shai another piece with picks for a big name. J-Dub maybe a 3rd option rather than a 2 to Shai. Well, I agree that I think J-Dub's definitely like a 3, or like a 3rd option instead of a 2. My whole thing though is just like, are you able to maybe just keep Chet Holmgren as well, and then you go and find someone else to be the number 2, which would be a completely stacked team, but I don't know how it would really work out. But yeah, maybe they cash in on Chet Holmgren. Maybe they cash in on Isaiah Hartenstein's big contract, right? So like you just send out the $28.5 million and go and get somebody. I mean, hell, maybe they trade for Giannis. I mean, can you imagine they trade Isaiah Hartenstein for Giannis Antetokounmpo? Like, holy hell. They make a trade. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking, right? Like, if you want to talk about tradable contracts to like get you that big star, like Isaiah Hartenstein's $28.5 million is huge. Like that's like that's the money you need to, like, you know, combine with, you know, whoever you want else to combine it with, like, I don't know, Kenrich Williams or whoever. And you have enough money to go and get that superstar, right? You have enough money to go and get that big contract that you need to trade for. So I personally would be, you know, if Thunder don't make it, then like I would be definitely calling the Bucks and just being like, so what do you want? Like, what do you want for Giannis? We have all the picks in the world. We have, you know, we have a bunch of young prospects that you could take. What do you want? You know, like if I'm just talking about like if you're wondering about money or anything, like, this would work. Or at least in my head it would work. But let me double check this. I mean, this is not for next season, but like if, in theory this season, using Isaiah Hartenstein's $30 million this year, and then I don't know, we'll throw in Case and Wallace. This I think should work. No, okay, this doesn't work enough. We'll throw in Dylan Jones. Sure. Is this enough? Oh god. Okay, no, we're actually not close. Ooh. Case and Wallace, and then sure, we'll throw in Aaron Wiggins. All right, yeah, this is enough, I guess. Is this? My math is awful. Yeah, this is enough. So, yeah, I mean, like, again, this might not be the exact trade, but it's like, okay, well, if you're the Bucks, what do you want? We have 5 first-round picks this year, so if you want to make this in the middle of the draft, then let's go ahead and do that. So I mean, hell, like you want the Utah. I guess you won't get the Utah pick, but like. You want the Clippers pick for this year, and then you want maybe next year you want the Clippers pick as well. Oh, actually, this is not tradable? I guess. Sure. Hello? Spot track? Okay, whatever. Don't care. Oh, is it because of this? Oh, I see. Interesting. I don't know. All right, let's just say fine. We'll send you Houston picks this year. Get the Clippers pick next year, and then you'll get our pick in 2027. Also, you'll get Denver's pick in 2027. Like you can just send every pick, every single pick. It's just you're just like, yep, okay, you want 2029 as well, and then we'll send you every single second rounder there is in eternity. Like I don't know. Like if you're the Thunder, or sorry, if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, like yeah, we'll see. It's possible. I mean, yeah, it's crazy that you could definitely upgrade over Hartenstein. Giannis was a big market though, like maybe one that's only a short drive south from his current location. Yeah, right. I mean, bro, I would love that, but God, the odds of it happening, bro, is just so low. Okay, see what better fit for Jokic. I mean, sure. If we want to do that, let's go ahead and do that. Like, that's the crazy thing. It's just like we can do this with the Thunder, and they're at the top of the Western Conference right now. It's just like, yeah. So like, you want to trade for Jokic? Oh, it's doable, by the way. So yeah, if you're wondering, like, yeah, we can go ahead and just do this whenever we want to. So yeah, you want Ousmane Dieng? Here you go. Like, here's Ousmane Dieng. Like. Money works for this year. Again, it probably doesn't work moving forward, but like, I mean, hey, you want Topic as well? Here, just take him. And again, every damn pick in the world, like, works out. And again, D, maybe I'm wrong there. It doesn't sound like a bad trade for both teams in either. I mean, yeah, you would definitely have to change your game, right? Like, you'd have to really, I mean, they're already a great defensive team already, but like, they'd have to really lock in defensively on the perimeter, and probably find a little bit some sort of rim protection as well next to Jokic, which it might honestly just be Chet. And then you'd have to probably play a little bit slower for sure, but I think it'd be interesting. Are you hiring GSW or Lakers? Look at Lakers in the West. Oh man, I feel like they're kind of in the same tier for me right now. If I had to choose one to move farther in the playoffs, I'm gonna choose the Luka-led Lakers. So I have to cover for Jokic on D. Yeah, that'd be the idea. And honestly, here's the crazy thing too. If you wanted to instead, if let's say the Denver Nuggets instead were like, okay, we're gonna hit the full rebuild, we want Chet instead, right? Like, there is a world where you could trade Chet instead and like maybe try to keep Hartenstein. It would have to, the money would be hard, but like the fact that we can even talk about that is just insane. They were just like, oh, you know what? Instead, we'll just keep Hartenstein instead, and we'll trade Chet. We'll just trade Chet, and we'll work it out from there. I don't know how the money would work, but you'd have to like include like Lou Dort and Isaiah Joe, and etc. But sure. All right, y'all. That's gonna call it for me today, though. I sincerely appreciate you coming out to the stream. Next game is on Friday. Bulls take on the Wizards. Bulls should win this one, obviously, but it'd be funny if they lose it somehow. I'm interested just to kind of see Alex Sarr play again. He had a really rough game the last time the Bulls played the Wizards, so I just want to see him play again. Bulls should take care of business here. I do need to go, though, because I do work tomorrow early, so I need to get some sleep. If you have not already hit the like button on the stream, helps me out a lot. Please do hit the like button. I sincerely do appreciate you guys hitting the like button. If you're new to the channel, like Bulls content, please hit the subscribe button. Do sincerely appreciate it. I'll be seeing you guys at 9:30 p.m. Central Time on Friday for the post-game Wizards versus Bulls. So, thank you guys for the chat. Thank you guys for the great stream. Sincerely do appreciate y'all taking the time to spend some time with me all season long. It's been a lot of fun. And yeah, we still got some games to go here, at least 3 more games, knowing that the Bulls are in the play-in game, so we'll see how this goes. All right, y'all. Thank you guys so much. I'll see y'all on Friday. Peace out, y'all. Have a good night.